Oklahoma, home of the defending national champs. Quite a festive atmosphere throughout the day. And tonight, the season opener. The North Carolina Tar Heels take on the third-ranked Oklahoma Sooners in the Hispanic College Fun Classic. Now to the field, the pride of Oklahoma marching band. And welcome to Saturday primetime college football here on ESPN. It's quite an emotional evening here in Norman, and why not? Because it's the first time that the Sooners would have taken the field since they captured the championship last year down in Miami. And it gives us an opportunity to say welcome to you for Saturday night football for the season 2001. We think it's going to be a special year. And quite frankly, all we can say about tonight, sit back and relax. This will be a special evening. We think there's nothing more special than Saturday primetime college football. Stay with us. Coming up, it's the Tar Heels and the Sooners. Capacity House have spent a lot of money for a ticket on this one tonight because it's been sold out for a long time. The defending national champions taking the field here at Memorial Stadium in Norman, Oklahoma. And it's a hot one. Even if the temperatures were cooler, wouldn't matter. These folks are stirred up about this football team as the Tar Heels come calling tonight in the Hispanic College Fun Classic. So Coach Bob Stoops and his crew, who have never lost here at home, 20-5 since they've been here, and they come in for the first time since winning the championship. Michael, good to be with you again. Mike Gottfried, of course, here at my side. They say they're stronger, they are faster, they are more experienced. A lot of people think Oklahoma is better than they were last year. There is an X factor, though, and his name is Nate Hibble. He's a transferred quarterback with the University of Georgia.
Well, Nate's last start was in 1997 in high school, so he had a great camp. Only threw one interception and 500 in the fall camp. Everybody in this stadium is waiting to see how Nate plays tonight.
On the defensive side of the ball, obviously, we'll be keeping an eye on All-American linebacker Rocky Kalmus. But, folks, there is a young fellow that the coaches think there may be a new sheriff in town before long. He is a freshman who is starting at defensive tackle tonight.
It's almost impossible for a freshman to start in the defensive line. Tommy Harris gets to start tonight. Bobby Stoops says he's the best freshman defensive lineman he's ever seen.
Well, for John Bunting, the new head coach, and his new coaching staff, dream come true. He comes back home to Chapel Hill. What gives him a chance to win tonight?
Ronald Curry, the quarterback. As Ronald Curry goes, so goes North Carolina. North Carolina really, Ron, needs something good to happen early. His confidence has been shaken a little bit. Three different systems in the 4 years. He's learned different terminology. He needs to have a big game.
Well, Mike, one of the things we'll be watching very closely tonight is you see some very big thunderheads back over behind the stadium. The current temperature, well, I guess it's dropped below 100 now. Possible thunderstorms tonight. The heat index is high. In fact, Adrian Carson's going to talk more about that in just a couple of moments. Oklahoma has won the toss, and they have deferred to the second half. So it'll be North Carolina receiving. Nate Hibble on the sideline taking some snaps from his offensive center. Josh Smith, although they are not starting an offense tonight, just trying to get loose and stay loose as the Sooners will watch the Tar Heels take the ball on this opening kickoff tonight. Tim Duncan will kick it to either Michael Waddell or Kevin Knight. And the 2001 season is underway. 5 yards deep in the end zone. And Kevin Knight says, nope, let's don't bring this one out. Let's go down to the sideline and check in with our buddy Adrian Karsten. Adrian?
Ron, thank you very much. Now you need to know how severe these coaching staffs feel. A heat index of over 100 degrees here in the field really is to their players. So severe that the head trainer from Carolina said these may be the most severe conditions he has seen in the last 30 years. We all know about the problems this summer, so the key is to keep these guys hydrated. For the Tar Heels, that started this morning a training table at 7:30. They're going to roll in a lot of fresh players to keep the starters right where they want them. More updates as the game goes on, Ron.
Okay, thanks very much, Adrian. We look forward to hearing from you. Curry on first down. Turns around and hands it off to Parker, and Willie Parker is going to be knocked down by Tommy Harris, the young man we were just talking about, the freshman out of Killeen, Texas. Here are the starting lineups. Ronald Curry, much heralded when he came out of high school in Hampton, Virginia, and you know plays basketball and football. North Carolina, Parker, who just carried, and more. Allen and Bailey, the wide receivers. Doug Brown is the tight end, and we'll check that offensive front following this play. Loss of 4, second down. Oklahoma comes on a blitz. Curry hit behind the line of scrimmage, and he's going to be knocked down. The ball is loose, and Oklahoma has recovered inside the 15.
Ron, this is exactly what North Carolina didn't need. Ronald Curry needed some things to go right here early. He never gets the ball back into his body. He faked the draw, too much pressure. Brandon Moore, number 46, with great quickness in the hit.
And he's the one that caused the turnover. So the Sooners get the football for the first time tonight at the North Carolina 13-yard line. Shotgun, turns, hands it off to Griffin, hit behind the line of scrimmage. Nice defensive play by David Thornton. Well, let's talk a little bit more about Nate Hibble out of Hazelhurst, Georgia. 6'3", 217. His dad is a head football coach. And like many other sons of coaches, knows the game very well. Griffin and Hess, the running backs, the receivers, Fagan and Woolfolk, Trent Smith, the tight end. And in fact, we'll see 8 different wide receivers from the Sooners tonight. Again from the shotgun. First pass for Hibble. Swings it out. Got it complete to Griffin. Inside the 10, and he gets tattooed with a head-high tackle by Michael Waddell. Here's the offensive line. All-American Frank Romero on the left. Howard Duncan has been moved out to right tackle. And who do they face off against?
They face a good front four, North Carolina, led by Julius Peppers. And it's going to be I'm anxious to see how they try to line Julius Peppers up to put pressure on this Oklahoma quarterback.
I think they'll move him around then.
I do.
Third down and 5. The line to make is the North Carolina 4. Hibble swings this one out. Griffin paid for that one, incomplete, and he waited just a little too late to deliver the pass. Might have been a good idea that because Derek Johnson, who is one of the nickelbacks, came over to hit him very quickly.
Ron, it's a big stop by North Carolina's defense. You're on the road. Your offense just fumbles inside the 20. You come out in 3 plays and hold them to a field goal attempt.
25-yard attempt. Jason White, who is the number 2 quarterback, will be the holder for Tim Duncan. Good pass. Ball is down. Knocks this one through. So the Sooners take advantage of an early North Carolina turnover. And there's a timeout with 13:31 left in this opening quarter. And it's Oklahoma 3 and North Carolina nothing.
ESPN's presentation of the 2001 Hispanic College Fund Classic is brought to you by Isuzu, Go Farther, and by Taco Bell.
So the Sooners will kick it off, having taken advantage of a turnover on a hit by Brandon Moore. They got it at the 13 and marched right in to kick the field goal. I guess on the positive side for North Carolina, we'll get Mike to comment on this after the kickoff, is the fact that they held them to only 3 rather than giving up the touchdown. Another very deep kick. This one's going to go out of the back of the end zone. Tar Heels will take it over at the 20. Here's that scoring drive as you look at Ronald Curry coming on the field. 4 plays, 5 yards, 44 seconds.
And you always tell your defense about sudden change. When you're sitting over on the bench and the fumble occurs on your side of the 50-yard line, you got to go in with a mindset to hold them at least to a field goal attempt, and that's what North Carolina's defense did.
Rocky Calvis and company. Also Roy Williams and company on that defense. Getting set to face the Tar Heels for the second time tonight. Short drop, quick throw, this one a mile high. Looking for Bosley Allen. Carolina offensive line, we didn't get an opportunity to introduce these. Adam Metz is the only upperclassman here. Everybody else either a sophomore or a freshman. And Mike, who do they square off against?
Well, this might be the mismatch tonight. Tommy Harris, we already talked about the freshman. Corey Klein probably is the best defensive lineman on that front.
2nd down and 10 following the incompletion by the Tar Heels. Here comes a blitz off the corner, swings it out on the flat and has this one to Parker, and a flag comes down
before the play.
Eugene Simcoe, our referee tonight. Now the linebackers for Oklahoma, and actually this is the thinnest area on the football team. They list only 4 linebackers. Lehman is new in the middle, but he's a 4-4 sprinter, if you can believe it. Wilkerson and Calmus, and in the secondary, Andre Wolfo goes both ways. He'll play offense, wide receiver, and play at that left cornerback spot as well. 2nd and 15. Here they come off the corner again. This ball is hit and incomplete. Bosley Allen again is who they were looking for.
I made a statement early that North Carolina goes as Ronald Curry goes, but they had to have something good happen to them early. This is a team offensively doesn't have a lot of confidence. They don't have a lot of leadership either on this offensive team. This is a very young offensive team. Adam Metz might be the leader at the center position.
He is. The coaches say that he's one of the guys they look to. That ball tipped by Harris, so he now has an individual tackle and a tipped pass. 3rd down. Line to make is out at the 30. Here comes the pressure. Pass well overthrown, and Curry this time looking for Corey Bailey. Mike, he hasn't even been close.
No, he hasn't. And Gary Tranquil, the new offensive coordinator, will try to settle him down. Now you get into the kicking game, Ron. We've always talked about the first game. You're the most vulnerable in the kicking game because you don't have preseason games. A lot of coaches don't work full speed in the kicking game. Tackling, blocking downfield, so forth.
John Lafferty, you see his average, 35.4. Damian Mackey is the deep man, and he is dropped off to around the OU 45-yard line. Good pass. Nice wobbly spiral. Fair catch is signaled for, and a flag comes down, and you could understand why, because the gunner came down and did not allow him to catch the football. That was Devontae Coleman who makes that mental error, so they'll step off, and the Sooners will take it over for the 2nd time tonight in North Carolina territory. 43 yards in the kick, and as they discuss this right here, Mike, let me ask you this question. People ask John Bunting the question, why would you play this game for a first game?
Well, John Bunting's answer is he wanted to raise the bar. He wanted to spring practice and the weight program to know the players were going to play the #1 team in the country. But the negative is when you play a 12th game, you got to win 7 games to go to a bowl. So that kind of offsets it a little bit because if you're playing an 11-game schedule, 6 gets you in the bowl in the ACC, usually.
Bob Stoops on the near sideline, sending his offensive charges out. And following the penalty, the line of scrimmage will be the Carolina 46.
This might be a nice play to take a chance down the football field.
Quick pass, gets this one off to Griffin. Inside the 40, inside the 30, and is going to be knocked out of bounds. And this is nothing more. Oh, you picture to death. This is the same as a pitch play.
It really is, Ron. Quentin Griffin is the type of running back. He's going to do a lot of things in this offense. He's got to run the football in traps, draws. He's got to block and pass protection. He's got to be a very good wide receiver in this system. Caught 51 passes last year, and he's off again this year.
So it's a first down, and the ball now at the 27.5-yard line. Draw play. Griffin, right side, has 5, has 10. He'll make you miss. Tackled inside the 5, and it's first and goal for the Oklahoma Sooners. Dexter Reed finally made the tackle after a 23-yard gain.
Your point is well taken. Quentin Griffin, when you look at him on tape, makes a lot of people miss in the open field. That's why he's so dangerous on draw plays and catching the football out of the backfield, because he's in space a lot. Now he makes a move here, and there's a missed tackle. And I see, as this game goes along, with the 8 wide receivers for North Carolina, there's going to be a lot of missed tackles, because I think that secondary is going to wear down.
The player who is down is Billy D. Greenwood, a senior strong safety. One of the things that the coaches talk about as you look at Greenwood being attended to by the training staff is that when you get Griffin the football even that quickly, all of a sudden you better close in a hurry, because they block down from the outside, they take care of the corner, got somebody on his ankles, and all of a sudden there's open running space.
Ron, he's a nice young man. We had a chance to talk to him the other day. He said, if I was taller, I'd have been a basketball player. He said, because I have great hands, but he has great confidence.
Well, here's a reminder. College football tomorrow night on ESPN2. Quarterback David Carr and the Fresno State Bulldogs are in Boulder to take on Colorado. The Buffaloes looking for a return to prominence after a 3-8 season last year. It's the Jim Thorpe Classic, 8 o'clock Eastern. And for more, log on to ESPN.com, your home for college football on the internet.
That won't be easy for Colorado tomorrow night. Fresno State, you talked about Carr being a senior quarterback. They've got a pretty good football team returning.
Well, glad to see that Billy D. Greenwood is up and walking off the field under his own power. Sooners have the ball first and goal at the 4.5-yard line. And one of the scouting reports on Carolina last year was that the secondary was not a good tackling secondary.
And
it's going to have to be a better one tonight.
If that's the case, about the third quarter, when their tongues are hanging out with trying to keep up with 8 wide receivers, it's going to be tougher.
2 tight ends, Smith and Donnelly. Griffin, the only setback behind Heidel. He gets it, runs it right back up the middle. Touchdown, Oklahoma. Interesting thing there was they ran at Julius Peppers, and he couldn't do anything about it, Mike Gottfried. Tim Duncan. Good pass, and he knocks the extra point home. And with 12 minutes, 48 seconds left to play in the opening quarter, as you look at Griffin get right by Julius Peppers and into the end zone, it's Oklahoma 10-0. Nate Hibble on the phone on the near sideline talking upstairs to the offensive coaches. Really fine start for him. He's shown a lot of poise.
Yeah, that's a big touchdown for him, because they had to settle for the field goal. I think he checks off here, because you watch the tailback Quentin Griffin move up, get the check off, and you don't see this in the paper in the box score tomorrow, but that decision to go to that play, a little trap up inside the touchdown. So Nate Hibble is taking the offense, and he's an extension of the coaches.
Duncan kicks it off. And this one is going to be taken 3 yards deep in the end zone by Waddell. At the 20, gets by the outside man, has the ball knocked loose in the field of play, and Oklahoma recovers at the 19-yard line.
Jones, number 40, knocked that play loose.
Damian Mackey, who makes the recovery.
In the kicking game, he breaks contain, loses his balance, doesn't have the ball.
That's Duncan, the kicker, who knocked it loose, Mike. Tim Duncan. So Tim shows that he does a little bit of everything. Boy, can you believe this? We still have 12:33 showing on the clock. That last drive took 18 seconds for OU. The first drive took only 44 seconds. Hibble's going to run it, and he will be tripped up after a gain of about 4 yards. David Thornton is a man who got out there and made the tackle. Mike, explain to the audience what Oklahoma does, first of all, on their splits. The offensive linemen, the splits are extremely wide.
First of all, it starts out, Ron, by 4 wide receivers splitting out. When you split 4 people out, the defense has to take 4 out with you. And then the free safety in the middle of the field. So Mark Mangino, the offensive coordinator, with wide splits, narrows down what the defensive linemen and linebackers can do. You got 6 people against 6 people, 5 offensive linemen, 1 running back.
Here comes a blitz in the middle and a quick screen pass out on the sideline. This is Savage, gets by 1 and will not get by the next couple. Monk is there to make the hit along with Dexter Reed.
And Ron, to finish that thought, it clears the picture up for everybody. In other words, the quarterback, when he comes under center, he can see what's happening to him in the box with 6 people. If there's a 7th enters, then he's responsible to check off or to get the ball to a wide receiver. So it's a really good offense to put pressure on the defense. Big splits. You can see the offensive line splits.
How wide would you say that is, Mike?
3 foot. Split, and the defensive ends are wider.
Quick toss, gets it out. Works. Ronaldo works inside the 10 and is going to be tackled at the 7-yard line by Waddell. It's a gain of 7 and an Oklahoma first down.
Barry Switzer stopped up here a minute ago, but he was on the radio before the game, and I heard him say, let's hang a half 100 on them in the first half and enjoy the second half. And not that they're going to do that, but when he was coaching, they hung a half 100 on a lot of teams.
Interesting thing in watching Waddell there, these defensive youngsters for Carolina got to be getting tired already. 3 straight series after turnovers. They come with the blitz. Actually, draw play works at the 5, and he'll score. Ronaldo works, a sophomore out of Tulsa, Booker T. Tim Duncan to attempt the extra point out of the hold of Jason White. So the first drive took 44 seconds, the second 18, and that one took 1 minute and 12 seconds. It's OU 17-0. Ronald Curry on the Carolina sideline, kind of staring into space right now.
Yeah, 3 different systems in 4 years. Different coaches. Great high school player. Came out when Michael Vick, a lot compared him. A lot said he was a better athlete than Michael Vick. Has not had the kind of career at North Carolina that you thought he would have. But the coaching changes, I believe, have set him back a little bit, and then playing 2 sports.
This kickoff is 5 yards deep to Corey Bailey, and he will not return it. And let's check in with Reese Davis and what's happening with BYU.
Well, Ron, they are scoring a ton of points. Already 63-35. I'd say Gary Croton has that offense going. Brian McDonald going in here. BYU getting 70 for the first time since 1989. It's almost over. They've doubled up Tulane.
Okay, that probably the worst injury in that game tonight will be the righting arm of the stats people.
Tulane really is a good offensive football team, but they're too young. They can't stop anybody on defense.
Well, let's see if the Tar Heels can get something going on this series. Down 17-0, and we're not halfway through the opening quarter. You see Oklahoma jumping around on defense with that front, and they go with the draw play. hit at the line of scrimmage will be Carter, and he will have no gain. And let's check on the sideline with Adrian Karsten. Adrian?
Ron, as Mike points out, 3 systems are not in 3 years for Ronald Curry. He told me yesterday about the very thing. He has to have more confidence in himself in situations like this. When they get behind, when they still want to throw the short pass, they're going to stick with the game plan, but he has to have more confidence in himself. It's not time to pull it down when things get hairy and take the ball by himself just yet.
Ron, echoing what Adrian said, it's an offense that's looking for a leader. Ronald Curry can be that leader.
2nd and 10. Curry slings this one, and that one is right there at the 39-yard line to Allen, and the initial first down of the night for the Tar Heels. It's a gain of 26.
Gary Tranquil, when I talked to him the other day, the offensive coordinator of the Tar Heels, he said that Ronald Curry really throws the long pass better than the short passes. He said he has trouble with the finesse passes, but here you see him steps, good release, good flick of the wrist, and right on time to Bosley Allen.
Brandon Evans is the man who missed the tackle as he spun off. So the new line of scrimmage just across the 46-yard line. Tries to set up a screen under pressure, and now here's what maybe he does best. And wisely goes down after he gained 5 as Rocky Kalmus took his feet out from under him.
John Bunning, when he took the head coaching job, moved spring practice back, Ron, so that he would get Ronald Curry more time with Gary Tranquil. Coming out of basketball, Julius Peppers and Ronald Curry. And I don't think you can be a major college quarterback. I'll say this. I don't think you can be a major college quarterback and play 2 sports. It takes too much time.
Basketball also is so physically demanding.
Takes too much time.
2nd down, it's Borders in motion, hit behind the line of scrimmage, and there is Teddy Lehman. The new middle linebacker, Marshall, left, and they said, wow, how are we going to replace him? Well, I'll tell you exactly how you do it, as Wilkerson was there as well. Lehman is a 4.4 in the 40-yard dash, and that's hard to believe for Gotts 230.
Mike Stoops, the defensive coordinator, said he's as fast as any NFL linebacker, 236 pounds.
Loss of 5 on the play. Fort Gibson, Oklahoma is Teddy Lehman's home. Only a sophomore. So it's 3rd down, and the line to make for the Tar Heels to move the chains again. They got to go to the Oklahoma 43-yard line. Pressured, never saw him coming, and from the outside, knocked down for a loss. Brandon Shelby. And it's a loss of 14 yards.
And he's got to see him coming, Ron. That's what I'm talking about, the 3 different systems, different terminology, different coaches. You got to see this coming. He never looked, as he scanned the field, he never saw the free safety coming, Shelby.
2nd punt by John Lafferty. About to go under 8 minutes to play in his opening quarter. Good coverage kick. Hanging spiral. Mackey back inside the 15. Runs into his own man. And nice coverage by North Carolina. Stopped after virtually no gain. 49 yards into kick. -2 on the return. And tomorrow it's ESPN Sunday Night Baseball presented by Nextel. The New York Mets' season of despair gets even tougher as they try and shut down San Francisco slugger Bobby Bonds and Barry Bonds in his pursuit for the home run history. Bonds now with 55 home runs and counting. Can he break McGuire's single season record? Giants and the Mets, 8 o'clock Eastern.
Ron, I watch baseball tonight all the time. It's the best baseball show on TV. Ortiz probably is going to pitch for the Giants tomorrow. He threw a 2-hitter against Montreal last week. But, of course, everybody's interested in Barry Bonds, right? Not pitching.
That's right.
Home runs.
Quentin Griffin comes back into the lineup. We saw Ronaldo Works on the last series, and here's Griffin. And he motors his way just behind the blocks of Sims and Duncan. And he's going to have maybe about 4 yards in the play.
You just think what's going through Nate Hibble's mind as he finally gets his chance. Last time he started the game, high school in 1997, transferred from Georgia. He said he really appreciated what Jim Donnan did to help him transfer. Just football wasn't right. Everything else was right in Athens, Georgia.
Hard on him and also hard on his family, as we mentioned. His dad, a longtime football coach. Hibble now going to have to scramble out of the pocket. Pumps it and is going to very wisely. And it's one of the things that the coaches talked about as you see Evans knock him out of bounds. He said he will eat the football or do something wiser than just throw and take a chance on an interception.
I thought you had a good question for him. You knew his dad was a high school coach, and he said, when I was a high school player, I only threw 12 passes a game. He said, my dad was the coach, but the most important thing he said, which I liked, was he said it was all about winning. And with that kind of attitude, you want him to be the quarterback on your team.
Said his dad had a jamboree last night, and he and his dad and mom were flying in today into Oklahoma City so they could see this game tonight. Third down, shovel pass. Quentin Griffin, and this is how he just absolutely kills you. He gets down and squirms in behind those linemen, and poof, all of a sudden he's gone.
And you know, when you look at a shovel draw play, and you wonder where that defensive line is, that's a way of controlling the pass rush. Now, you get a big gain, but we haven't called Julius Pepper's name at all because the play caller, Mark Mangino, has handled Julius Peppers with his play call.
Actually, Peppers is on the bench, and Mooring is in. Hibble now 5 of 6, 46 yards, and Ronaldo Rex comes in, breaks it out. Almost to the 40-yard line, and will take it forward to the 41. 15 yards in the play. There's Mark.
And Mark Mangino, by calling the plays, can affect a guy like Julius Peppers in this front because he can trap them, he can screen them, he can sweep to their side, he can roll away, and he has to be able to control Julius Peppers, the guy calling the plays. Now, your offensive linemen have to do their part, but Mark Mangino has called a brilliant first quarter.
Julius Peppers on the sideline. You can see that he's winded, and that's the reason that Maury's in the ball game, giving him a little bit of a breather right now as Griffin gets the ball again. And he takes it forward for a gain of almost 5 yards in the play. Mooring is the man who made the tackle. Mike, answer this. The way Oklahoma utilizes their tailbacks, and they throw so many short passes, the quick passes, the shovel draw we saw just a moment ago, you almost have to have a spy on every play on their tailback, don't you?
What happens, though, Ron, if you play a linebacker in there, they throw to him. If you play a defensive back in there on him, they run at you. So they've got you guessing all the time. You've got to try to get them confused.
Again from the shotgun. Hibble doesn't see the man from behind him, and he's going to be sacked by David Thornton. And it's the first time that North Carolina has gotten to him tonight. But as he turned his back, didn't feel the pressure from the linebacker from the heels, and they stop him for a loss.
No, and this is going to be a good test for Oklahoma's offense because North Carolina's defense was second in the ACC last year. They get 8 seniors on their starting front.
David Thornton out of Goldsboro, North Carolina, 6'2", 228 pounds, and he is a senior. So it's third down. And for Oklahoma to keep this drive going, they need to take it just across midfield. Middle screen. Have it complete, and Savage, as soon as he catches the ball, is caught by Kevin Knight, the junior from Suffolk, Virginia, from the Tar Heels.
Yeah, Kevin Knight played that perfectly. He sat there, he saw the quick screen, he moved up before the blockers could get to him.
So the first time we'll see Oklahoma kick tonight. Jeff Ferguson.
Well, he's been a weapon. He was a weapon last year in the championship game that we covered.
Yeah, he really did keep Florida State bottled up in that ball game. Aiken is the man back deep for North Carolina. Oh, this is a dandy. Driving kick, fair catch signal for, and made inside the 8-yard line. Let's get a closer from what happened to BYU. Reese Davis, give it to us. All-American Plaza at the Switzer Center here at Oklahoma on the Norman campus. Letter winners for every year, pictures and other memorabilia throughout for the faithful of the Oklahoma Sooners who have watched them win 7 national championships. Andre Williams comes into the ball game at tailback. He's number 34. Then they give it to him, and off the left side, loses the ball, Kalmus scrambles for it, and Kalmus is going to take it in for the Oklahoma touchdown. So for the All-American linebacker and Butkus candidate, his second fumble recovery of the night, and this time he scores a touchdown. Duncan to attempt the extra point. Knocks it home. Brett Venables, the co-defensive coordinator, along with Mike Stoops, is the one who was talking to Rocky there. And how about the turnover situation?
Well, 3 for North Carolina. They've resulted in this lead for Oklahoma. The offense of North Carolina just struggling. Here's the first turnover. Ronald Curry fumbles the ball on the kickoff. Another fumble that set up an Oklahoma score. And then just a minute ago, or a second ago, Rocky Thomas in for the touchdown. So in North Carolina, the worst nightmare you can have on the new coach to come in, take over a job. Transitional year is the toughest year you're going to have. It's going to get better for John Bunning, but it's off to a rough start.
And as we mentioned, Andre Williams had just come into the ball game for the first time tonight, but didn't have the ball secured, obviously. The other impressive thing on the play, you could see number 2, Derek Strait, streaking into the picture to get down and make sure that his linebacker who had picked up the fumble got into the end zone to block for it.
I think anybody that's seen Oklahoma play knows they'll run to the ball on defense, and that's what you ask. Pursuit. All 11 guys get to the football, and Oklahoma does that as well as anybody in America.
Aiken and Knight, the 2 deep men. Duncan's kick very high, and this one too is going to be in the end zone. Not going to return it. So we do have a final on BYU. Reese Davis, what do you have for us?
Ron, you and Mike were talking about Barry Switzer wanting to hang a half 100 on North Carolina. BYU nearly hung the full 100 on Tulane, 70-35. The Cougars were 73rd in scoring offense last year. Croton's energized that offense. Doman had a great day, and BYU off to a big start, guys.
Somewhere, Lavelle Edwards sitting in that stadium, proud of his ball club. Gary Croton was probably his pick to take over the job, so everybody's happy at BYU. But you remember this Tulane team. I'm going to tell you, this year they're going to struggle a little bit. Next year, they may win Conference USA. Got them all back.
Andre Williams, and I like this. You're going to put him right back in the lineup and let him try to right himself. Although they go play action, and now Curry going to scramble. Thomas is there, and Kalmus along with Corey Klein combining on the tackle. You know, Rocky's another kid we had a chance to talk with after practice on Thursday, and I asked him about being a rah-rah guy, and he almost looked embarrassed, and he said, I really try to lead through example. I don't say a lot. And I said, where do you get that? And he said, my dad's kind of a quiet guy, and I guess I learned it from him. But you could tell on the bench he was smiling and accepting the kudos, but he wasn't jumping up and down and screaming. Not his nature. Williams, and he's going to be stopped after a gain of a couple of yards. Rocky Kalmus on the tackle there.
Ron, this is the first year he didn't have a cast on his hand or arm after the football season. So he really lifted, and everybody thinks he's stronger. And when we talked to him, he said, you know, my hands have always been beat up and my wrists, and so I've used my forearm to keep blockers off of him. Now I'm stronger. I'm using my hands more. I think I'm going to be a better football player. I don't know how much better he can be. 125 team high tackles last year.
Third down, they need the 30-yard line. Wins this one in and out of the hands of Bosley Allen. That would have been enough for the first down, but Derek Strait was right there.
In this heat, the North Carolina defense has been on the field much Too much.
2 minutes and 43 seconds left in the first quarter, and that defense, you're right, has been out there almost the entire first quarter.
You look at Oklahoma's defense, they're fresh on the other side. This bunch wearing the white jerseys are tired.
John Lafferty waits for the snap. This is Mackey from the 25. The return was to the right, and he was trying his darndest to get over there, but could not get through the wall. Well, there's no disputing that the bullseye will be directly on the Sooners this year. That does not bother the head coach a bit, though.
We handled the bullseye and being the hunted for a good part of last year, about 9 games, 8-9 games. We had the bullseye on our back a year ago. So we've experienced that, and the bottom line is we have a pen and can circle and put a bullseye on other people as well. And all that matters truly is how you prepare, how well you're prepared and ready to play. And if you are, then it doesn't matter what they're doing.
Coach Bob Stoops, and as we mentioned, his brother Mike on this staff with him. Quentin Griffin hit from behind, and there's Peppers. There's the All-American effort right there that you look for from the 6'6", 285-pound junior.
You saw how he moved right there, and John Bunning says he reminds him a lot of Lawrence Taylor. That's big words, but Julius Pepper making a good play on Quentin Griffin. They'll come back to that kind of play just because the quarterback may keep that ball the next time because Julius Pepper's just sold out on Quentin Griffin.
3 wide receivers to the bottom of your screen. And then the pass intercepted by Peppers. And Peppers will score the first touchdown of the night for North Carolina from 29 yards out. There is what they look for from the big All-American. He had disappeared in the early part of the game, but he shows why he has the label there.
Great players make big plays. Julius Peppers now makes this a football game. And the offensive guys on the sideline jumped up with joy because something good happened for North Carolina. So Julius Peppers made a big play for both the offense and the defense. He has a 37.5-inch vertical jump.
Chris Bender
is
going to kick. And Mike, interesting story why he's kicking, and Jeff Reed is not the kicker. Reed, in fact, the regular, has never missed an extra point, but he turned his ankle in the Thursday workout when he stepped on a tee, and he's on the bench. So that's the reason Bender's the man who's on the field. There's a good look at Jeff right there. Good pass, and Bender knocks it home. So with 1 minute and 48 seconds showing on the first quarter scoreboard clock, Oklahoma now in front 24-7 over North Carolina.
And that's what Mark Mangino and Bobby Stoops didn't want to happen. They talked about the 500 pass attempts in fall practice by Nate Hibble with only 1 interception. Here he just makes a big mistake because Julius Peppers is right in the line of the throw. There's the cut block, and he was not successful. Frank Romero. You've got to get the hands down to the defensive end if you're going to throw the quick screen or quick pass.
Got to get him grabbing for his ankle so he's not jumping up like he did on that one.
Got to block him a little bit higher than he did. He tried to block around his shoelaces.
So some new life over there on that Carolina bench as they break the scoring ice. Now 24-7 and just under 2 minutes to play. And as Mike had mentioned in our opening tonight, Hibble had been so consistent and not throwing the interception, only 1 in all of their team and scale drill.
Yeah, they chart every pass that he threw in the fall. And that's why he won the job.
High kick, and it's very short. This one going to be taken at the 13-yard line by Savage. Savage. He'll score 87 yards. Now they've changed it. They say officially 88 yards.
I'll tell you what, I don't know if Reese Davis is listening close by, but Reese, at 70 points put on the scoreboard by BYU might not be anything the way this one's going. Duncan with the extra point.
Savage does a great job on this kickoff return. But Curtis Fagan, number 12. Watch number 12 here. He gets a block right here. Key block. Now he releases, goes downfield, and he says, okay, he's not going to be a factor. I'm going to make sure this guy doesn't get in there either. Nice hustle by Curtis Fagan. Great run by Antoine Savage. Kicking game first week, you're most vulnerable.
Mike, that kick, as I mentioned, was short. It was so high and short, he was able to hit a seam actually better because of the position of where Carolina was there on the special teams.
Good point, Ron, because North Carolina overran it.
Yes,
and
they did.
Somebody got out of the lane, and John Bunnings learned from Bill Dooley. He said, we're going to work on special teams, and he said, we have spent so much time, invested so much time, that I think our kicking game is going to come around. It'll get better. I like his attitude, John Bunning.
I do too. A very, very nice, engaging fellow. He's got work to do because a lot of good recruiting needs to be done. 31-7 our score, and this kick is going to go out of the back of the end zone. Reese Davis, bring us up to date on Nebraska, who had a difficult time today.
Yes, Ron, they did, and for the record, I was listening to you, hanging on every word. The Nebraska offense didn't get anywhere close to 70. They struggled against TCU for much of the day, but Thunder Collins, playing the I-back position, came up with some big plays, as did Eric Crouch. Collins going into the end zone there. He had 71 yards rushing. Nebraska won it 21-7.
Okay, Reese. You know, Mike, a lot of people forget, and they're saying, well, hey, TCU, listen, TCU's defense has been really, really hairy in recent years.
They have a lot of athletes, and they won the WAC last year, had a chance for the BCS.
Quick pass out in the flat at the 25. That's to Brandon Russell. And Brandon is going to come, I believe, out enough for the first down. Yes, just out across the 30-yard line.
Brandon Russell is a former tailback. Started for North Carolina last year at the tailback position, was the leading rusher. Played outfield for the baseball team. And they've been excited about how he's performing as a receiver.
About to go under 1 minute left in this opening quarter. Drop play to Parker. Cuts it back into the boundary, tripped up, and he'll come out of bounds. Let's see where they're going to step him out at around the 42-yard line. Brandon Everidge came up to make the tackle. Everidge has had a bad ankle during training camp, but and he's got heavy tape on that ankle. But they said he was going to be ready to go tonight, and he wanted desperately to start in this ball game. Got both of them taped very heavily. It's the left ankle that he had turned, though.
North Carolina's offense looks like they got a little more life.
Well, did it once, do it again. And Parker going to be tackled probably at the line of scrimmage. Teddy Lehman is the man who posted him, got him on the shoulder, and then got a lot of help from his interior lineman, so it's going to be third down, and they need to take it to the 46.
I watched that last play, and you're talking about the new sheriff in town, Tommy Harris. He just exploded up inside. Adam Metz makes a good tackle. The helmet goes off. He almost makes the tackle in the backfield. That's explosion on a young guy.
Third down, Carolina. Here comes the option. Cuts it back up into the middle. Nothing doing. Straight. Derek Strait, the sophomore out of Austin Lanier High School, is there to make the hit along with Dan Cody. And it's going to be kicking time for North Carolina. But not before we say that is the end of the opening quarter. showed us a timeout with the score. Oklahoma 31 and North Carolina 7. Looking at some storm clouds just out to the northwest of Norman, Oklahoma. You see the score 31-7 as North Carolina prepares to punt. Lafferty waiting for the snap at the 31, and it's Damian Mackey who is back deep. Do you fake one here, Mike?
It's the kind of area you do, about 10 more yards, but they're not going to.
Line drive kick from the 20. And they're going to spin him forward to around the 32-yard line. Well, turnovers in the first quarter, that was the name of the game. Let's take a look. Ball comes loose. Kalmus picks it up. Look at Straight burst into the picture to make sure he gets into the end zone. But then Peppers gets one back. Gets the interception and takes it in on the return. But it's 31-7. Kalmus with 5 tackles, 4 solo, 2 fumble recoveries, and a fumble recovery for a touchdown in the first quarter. That's a season for some people. As they throw this one complete to Mark Clayton. And Clayton's going to take it out across the 45. Gain of 14 yards. David Thornton defensively for North Carolina.
Nate Hibble has had a game first quarter. Everything short. Hasn't been able to get the ball down the field. North Carolina's not giving them that as of yet.
Defensively for North Carolina, Thornton led the way with 4 tackles, just had another right there, so he's got 5 in the books early. Hibble running up into the pocket, going to be tackled by Joey Evans, and let's check down on the sideline with Adrian Carson. Adrian?
Coming from Chuck Long, the All-American quarterback, All-Big Ten back in Iowa. He's been with Nate now for quite some time. He said, you know, he probably has a stronger arm. He has a little bit more poise than Josh Heupel. It's just a matter of experience and how he's going to do under pressure. That's his test tonight, Ron.
Okay, Adrian. I know it was a close race between Nate Hibble and Jason White. This is Chris Toney, who has been moved over from defense, and they use him at fullback as Oklahoma tries to cross up the Carolina defense just a little bit and throw the fullback. Or H-back, as they call him.
Ron, after he left Georgia and Jim Donnan announced that he was going to leave, and Jim Donnan helped him, when he got back to his his dorm room, he had 25 messages from college coaches around the country, and he said he didn't want to go through that again. Settled on Oklahoma, felt very secure in Bobby Stoops throwing the football, and really wanted to be here.
Gonna have to hurry on this play. Play clock was down to 3. Carolina getting a little pressure on him now, and he lobs this one downfield, and it was almost intercepted by Michael Waddell. Josh Norman was the man that the pass was intended for, and it was Will Chapman, number 91, who was putting the pressure on.
And when they go back and look at this tape, Bart Mangino and Chuck Long are going to look at this a little bit and see he made some mistakes, and he's got away with a couple. He didn't get away with the interception Peppers made, but he got away with one right there. Michael Waddell couldn't hold on.
Waddell is the deep man as Jeff Ferguson prepares to punt. Well, this is a good coverage kick. Waddell runs away from it. One of the gunners is down there at the 2-yard line, and he's going to down it at the 1. That is Jarvis Smith. 50 yards on the kick.
That's what they do so well.
College football tomorrow night on ESPN2. Quarterback David Carr of the Fresno State Bulldogs take on the Colorado Buffaloes. It's the Jim Thorpe Classic from Boulder, Colorado at 8 o'clock Eastern. Carr is a senior who's got the attention of NFL scouts when he threw for more than 2,700 yards and 23 touchdowns a year ago. Andre Williams comes back into the backfield, lines up a tailback, and he is about 7 yards deep in his own end zone. It's Madison Hedgecock, number 44, the fullback, who goes in motion. maybe a gain of 1. Barry Hollyman is there to make the tackle on Andre Williams. Well, the turnovers, field position has dictated a lot in this football game as well, Mike.
Go back to Ferguson, the punter, because that's what he did for OU all last year. This is a good place on the field to throw the ball deep. There's what you were talking about, Ron. 16-yard line. Of course, taking all the turnovers helps Oklahoma.
About to go into 12 minutes left in this opening half.
Be a good time to try to get the ball out here. Take and
here's Roy Williams coming on the blitz. That ball is caught at the 15-yard line by Sam Aiken. And that's the guy Mike was talking about. 18 yards on the pass completion.
Because everybody figures when you go into a tight formation, you get a single receiver out there. It's Sam Aiken. You know you're going to get good protection right in here. So there's no chance that they can sack you. Ronald Curry sits back and hits Sam Aiken on corner routes. You get isolated on the corner. Perkins, number 28, he falls down, so you get out of the hole. Now you can run your offense.
That was Hedgecock who threw a very good block protecting his quarterback. Curry 3 of 7, 61 yards. He pitches quickly back to Williams. Oh, does he get whacked by Brandon Everidge?
We talked about Brandon Everidge having that bad ankle. He doesn't look like he's got a bad ankle to me. Now he's limping a little bit. The option play, Ronald Curry, good athlete, kicks it out. There's Everidge coming up from a safety position, hitting Andre Williams around his ankles.
On second down from the shotgun. Steps up into the pocket. That's Calvis who's after him. Gets by him and gets by Derek Strait and then is pushed out of bounds by Brandon Everidge.
Ronald Curry's doing a much better job in the last 2 series. I see a better approach by the offense. I don't think they had confidence. There you talk about the ankle. There is Everidge coming off the field. But they have more confidence right now. Since Peppers made that interception, the offense has bounced around a little bit better for North Carolina.
10 minutes and 30 seconds left until halftime. North Carolina on third down conversions tonight is 0 of 4. They need to move this one only about a yard to convert though. Williams, and he's going to have it. Not much gain as Lehman came from that middle linebacking spot to make the tackle. But I believe they're going to move the chains on this one. Then there is a flag down.
This is a WAC crew, right? I like this. A WAC crew doing a ACC Big 12 game. I think this is the way we ought to do it all around the country. Fans don't agree.
Personal foul. See, now we're trying to find out, so are the coaches, and it'd be so easy just to say personal foul on.
WAC used to do this.
I know they did.
They stopped it.
I know they did.
Their officials are good. This is a good conference represented by good officials.
So the penalty moves it up to the 45. Ronald Curry, he wanted to throw a shovel pass, and that's a great job by Jonathan Jackson, number 49, out of Houston at North Shore.
Back up. And again, they're using 8 defensive linemen, keeping people fresh. Really not a good job by the back because he has to slow down to give a lane for Ronald Curry to be able to get the ball to him.
The beauty of the shovel pass, when it's dropped, it's just that, a pass. The bad thing is the defender was between the running back and the Carolina player. Zings this one, intercepted by Strait. Derek Strait cuts it back over to the other side of the field, gets a block, and he'll walk it in. 46 yards. Tim Duncan to attempt the extra point. He's been a busy guy tonight. White the holder. 9 minutes, 4 seconds left until halftime, and our new score, as you look at the interception one more time, Derek Strait, the sophomore out of Austin Lanier. Now watch him reverse the ball all the way to the opposite side of the field, and it's 38-7 Sooners.
ESPN's presentation of the 2001 Hispanic College Fund Classic is brought to you by 1010-220. Dial it, and all calls up to 20 minutes are only 99 cents.
Downtown Norman, and it looks like the Sooner faithful enjoying themselves. The folks here in the stadium certainly are. 38-7 with still over 9 minutes to play in the first half. Shortest kick of the night. This is Knight from the 5-yard line. Here comes a flag in as he breaks it up the sideline and is going to be bumped out of bounds at the 42-yard line. But this one's coming back, it would appear. 36 yards on the return, and it was Quentin Morgan on the special teams.
Folks, this is perfect drill. All defensive coaches teach when you get an interception, everybody turns into an offensive man. There's a block. There's a block right here by Kalmus. Now you see some more blocks here. Now the both are setting up there to block, and just a beautiful return on an interception. And that's what you teach all the time in practice. When that ball changes over, you become a blocker.
You see, he
nicely done.
Really was. You can tell that he's breathing hard. It is still a very warm evening, although we finally are getting some cloud cover and heavy dark clouds moving into the area. From the 9.5. Tripped up in the backfield. Willie Parker, I think he tripped over his own lineman, didn't he?
Yeah, the offensive line is not getting much of a push for North Carolina against this defensive line of Oklahoma. I've really been watching Tommy Harris. Tommy Harris just gets better and better.
It's Isaac Morford who is coming to the ball game, number 78, junior out of Melrose, Florida. Draw play, hit behind the line of scrimmage. He will pick up maybe 1 yard. Rocky Kalmus is there, and it was Lehman who got penetration to mess the play up.
It was interesting yesterday. You asked several North Carolina players a question, and you asked them about the speed of Oklahoma as compared to Florida State, and they all looked at each other and kind of laughed and kind of smiled, and they said, no, it's not like Florida State. Of course, they've been conditioned. Florida State is the dominant team, but I think that they probably feel like it's as quick as a Florida State defense, this OU defense.
Roy Williams coming from the safety spot. Ball is loose on the ground. Oklahoma saying they have it, and so do the officials. This is incredible. Corey Heineke, and that is 5 North Carolina turnovers in the first half.
That blitz might have jumped to center a little bit. May have popped it up there a little too soon. Ronald Curry never got to football.
You can see that ball bouncing around. Morford, I was just talking about it, bounced off his feet, and then Heineke, who started all last year for them. He is a senior out of Edmond, Oklahoma, and played junior college ball at Northeastern A&M, Northeastern Oklahoma. As we said, that's 5 turnovers. And we'll see if the Sooners pick up points off this one. Inside the 5-yard line. Ronaldo works, lines up at tailback. He gets the ball hit behind the line of scrimmage by Quincy Monk. Quincy is is a senior out of Jacksonville, North Carolina. He makes all the calls for the defensive unit, and actually the one who runs that front seven. Good defensive leader. Tough situation for these kids tonight because this defense has played a bulk of the first half because of all the turnovers. Carolina comes on the blitz. Fade right. Corner of the end zone, incomplete. That's Woolfolk that they were going to. Errol Hood was the defender out there trying to cover on the play.
Ron, Nate Hibble never really got set here because North Carolina just gets a tremendous push up inside. And he never gets a chance to get the ball out to where he wants to throw it. David Thornton was the linebacker on the blitz.
David would be my MVP for Carolina so far. He has been in on a bunch of big plays already. Third down and goal. They come with the all-out blitz. There's a middle screen. It is caught by Fagan, and he is stopped at the 5-yard line. So Oklahoma, good job in the defense of North Carolina.
Excellent job by the defense. And there's a lot of things for John Bunting to build on tonight. Unfortunately, getting routed here 38-7, but there's a lot of good things that I see happening. But sporadically, they give up big plays. The offense is fumbling the football. Ronald Curry's been up and down. It's been an up and down first half for North Carolina.
22-yard field goal attempt. Tim Duncan. Kick is perfect. The OU kicking game, both punting and place kicking, is absolutely excellent. So as we go to break, Ronald Curry, you see his numbers, 3 of 8, 61 yards, 1 interception. That one went for the touchdown, and it's 41-7 Sooners. 41-7. I said this was a tough ticket. These people can't see the field. They're looking at the Jumbotron. Folks, they're over behind the corner of the stadium, but you can see their reaction. Now, those are real fans. They want to feel the atmosphere. They want to be here to do the tailgating, and but they can see the game from a really bad angle. From the 2, this is Aiken. It's tattooed just before he gets to the 20-yard line. It's Brian Odom on the special teams who got down there to make the stop.
Offensive line for North Carolina needs to give Ronald Curry more time. Needs to open up some holes for the running game. This is a young offensive line. Willie McNeil's a redshirt freshman. Terry's a sophomore. Junior Wilson, sophomore Wolfner, and Metz is the only senior.
Out of Pawleys Island, South Carolina, and they knew this was one area that they were going to have to. They were concerned because of the youth there. And when you're playing a veteran team like Oklahoma, that makes it even more complex. Curry sings this one too high for Bosley Allen. Reese Davis, let's check with you.
Ron, like John Bunting, Al Groh making his debut as an ACC head coach. Virginia taking on Wisconsin in the Eddie Robinson Classic. Cavaliers hung around. They played tough, but Jim Sorgi off the bench for Brooks Bollinger, who was injured, hooked up with Lee Evans a couple of times, this time for 78 yards. Wisconsin wins it 26-17.
So the Badgers won that one, and you look at the ACC coaches at their alma mater. John Bunting, Ralph Friedgen gone back to Maryland. As this running play by Parker, just about the biggest ground gainer that they have had tonight, almost 10 yards in the play.
Well, Thomas will say you can't go home, but you can go home.
Yeah, you can. And it's, you know, for John Bunting, it was interesting. You talked about, you know, what a good guy. We got a chance to visit with him on the phone earlier in the week. We got to see him yesterday as his team came out for about an hour walk through here at the stadium. He told me, and I thought this was interesting. I said, John, why did you play this game? And he said, I want him to know where the bar should be set, but also he said, I just want him to play hard. And he said, that will make me very proud of him, but they got to play hard.
Well, the other thing I liked about John Bunting, he wants to be at North Carolina. A lot of guys get head coaching jobs. They don't want to be. They're looking to move somewhere else. He wants to be in North Carolina.
Well, procedure against Carolina. Coach Bunting decided on North Carolina back in the 9th grade, but not because of the football team. It actually was because of his affection for the basketball program.
I fell in love with the uniform, the color. I love the way Dean Smith's teams played. They were the total team. They were classy. And I just thought it was a really classy place to go. And once I went down there, I discovered that it was a very great institution.
Of course, John played college football there. As you look at a 3rd and 7, they need to take it out to the 30-yard line. Here comes the pressure, and that is the big freshman who got run past, and that pass goes incomplete. Tommy Harris with all kind of pressure. Dan Cody also putting on pressure.
Ron, I've really been impressed with Tommy Harris. I said it's very difficult to start your freshman year at the defensive line. I had one player, Mark Spindler, at Pittsburgh, started there and did a good job for us. Tommy Harris is an exceptional football player.
Now this is going to be the 5th punt of this first half. From the 34, Damian Mackey. And Mackey very close to midfield on the return. So we'll take a timeout. 43 yards in the punt and 15 on the return. And with 4:52 left until halftime, you see the freshman sensation from Killeen, Texas, making some waves. 41-7 Sooners. We'll be right back. Very warm evening in Norman, Oklahoma. But even though they're up on top big, still a lot of coaching going on the sideline from the Sooner coaching staff.
Yeah, Brent Venables talking to Rocky Kalmus, the All-American, coaching him up. Then Mark Mangino putting a little pressure on Nate Hibble on the sideline. You like your quarterback to be able to handle this. He's getting after him, but because he's not happy with some of the mistakes he's made in the first half.
9 of 13, 1 interception. That one went for a touchdown for 69 yards for Hibble. Here comes Griffin, and that's a nice open field tackle by guess who? David Thornton has played his heart out, and he has been really, really impressive. Unofficially, we have him for 7 tackles in the first half.
He's done a fine job on pursuit, and he was locked into Quentin Griffin on that play. He has the speed to stay with him.
About to go under 4 minutes left until halftime. Just a little too long. Antoine Savage is the man that they were looking for.
He's their long ball threat. He had 50 catches last year for 3 touchdowns. Wide open.
Nice job by those 2 big tackles, Frank Romero and Howard Duncan, of keeping the defensive front of North Carolina away from their quarterback and giving him time to throw that long ball. Hibble gets by 1 tackler. That was Peppers, and now it's going to be hit from behind. And it's Errol Hood, number 29, who will wind up making the stop.
John Tenuta, the defensive coordinator, he's going to do a great job with this defense. He moved Julius Peppers just before that snap, and he came clean. He was moving when the ball was snapped and really made that play on Hibble.
Jeff Ferguson in formation for the Sooners. Michael Waddell will be the receiver for North Carolina.
3rd punt for the Sooners tonight. Waddell is the deep man. With a good high coverage kick. Caught at the 11-yard line. Turns the corner and got a little bit of a wall out there. Now has a huge wall. And Waddell is going to take this one the distance. Touchdown, North Carolina. 91 yards. 35 yards in the kick and 91 yards on the return.
Talking to Gunnar Brewer, one of the coaches for North Carolina, and he talked about Waddell making things happen in the kicking game.
Bob Stoops on the sideline, obviously not real pleased about that long touchdown given up by his special teams on the punt return. Chris Bender to attempt the extra point. And in case you missed our point earlier, Jeff Reed, the normal kicker, turned his ankle on Thursday when he stepped on a kicking tee. And that's the reason it's Bender who's handling the chores tonight. And he's been perfect so far. So we'll take a break. 3 minutes and 17 seconds left until halftime. And following this 90-plus yard punt return, it is 41-14 Oklahoma. Boy, we saw a lot of this last year up in Blacksburg. And you remember our first game up there was canceled. Well, there was lightning outside the stadium. It was lightning inside the stadium by Waddell. Watch this, Mike.
May have stepped out of bounds.
Crowd thinks he did. They were watching the Jumbotron, and there was a huge groan, and then they started booing while we were way on the timeout.
Lee Corso must be around here somewhere. If
you know what, though? That official is right there and got that thing lined up. And I got to give him the benefit of the doubt that it was maybe a fraction of an inch, but that he didn't, because that guy never tossed his bag. I think Lee might be up the road, and that's the reason.
Well, he got his car hit last year at Virginia Tech. Lightning kind of comes around Lee Corso.
Squib kick. Picked up at the 11-yard line. And this is Mackey. Mackey will take it out across the 25 and go around the 27-yard line. Well, tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Eastern, ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, presented by Nextel. San Francisco Giants battling the New York Mets. Giants are right in the thick of that tight National League West pennant chase. And, of course, Barry Bonds with 55 home runs heading into tonight's game in pursuit of the single-season record of 70. 8 o'clock tomorrow evening. Over 1 tonight, 2 walks, and as we mentioned, 55 on the season.
You think he'll get a lot of walks as he goes toward the record here?
Could, yes.
And that's around him a little bit.
And that's unfortunate, but it's also the game.
There's Jeff Kent's right there behind him, so it'd be a mistake.
Calmas, just what you talked about. Put it in the running back's stomach, and then pulled it out, and he's going to have a first down. A gain of about 12, maybe 13 yards in the play. Billy D. Greenwood made the tackle. Glad he's back up and okay, as he was injured early on in the first quarter.
Here's what we talked about earlier. The defensive end really comes down hard. And the coaches upstairs seen that. Mark Mangino makes the call, and that'll slow the defensive end down a little bit.
Clock running, 2 minutes and 39 seconds left until halftime. That running play for short yardage with Quentin Griffin. And Banks is there to make the stop for Carolina.
He was tackled by Quincy Monk. And Travis Banks. And 2 yards brings up 2nd and 8.
41-14. Oklahoma leading over the Tar Heels of North Carolina. 5 first-half turnovers, if you just joined us, on the part of the Tar Heels, and that has been their Achilles in this ball game. A pass over the middle. Wolfo. Damian Mackey, actually the receiver on the play, and Reese Davis. Let's check with you again.
Okay, Ryan, coming up on SportsCenter in-game, the Saturn halftime report, we'll check out the other 3 classics from this afternoon, give the Sooner Nation a chance to peek at the Huskers along the way. The Game Day guys will be here to review what's happened on the day, and we'll look ahead to tomorrow night. Fresno State and Colorado get ready to go at it. See you in just a couple of minutes.
Okay, great, Reese. We got 1 minute and 26 seconds and counting until halftime. Hibble is he's going to call a timeout here. Only 4 seconds on the play clock when he stepped forward. And let's go down to the sideline and check again with Adrian Karsten. Adrian?
Ron, last year a lot of our fans, while watching the game, logged on to ESPN.com, then typed in the keyword Ask Adrian. As a result, had a lot of fun with all of us and got a lot of questions answered. Today we start with Jay from Virginia, who wants to know, asks Adrian, who is this year's Oklahoma? That is to say, who's going to come from the middle of the pack, so to speak, to play for and win the national championship? Jay, I say in this conference, everything is relative. Watch Texas. By schedule, I think they could come out of this conference with 1 loss, play for, and potentially win the national championship. Young Mr. Sims, I think, is going to take advantage of his opportunity and watch all of those receivers. Gentlemen, what are your thoughts?
Well, no argument there. In fact, this conference probably should have 4 teams in the top 10. I don't think anybody could really argue with that because K-State can't be that far behind. They got a lot of people to replace on defense, but the Big 12 may be the hotbed this time around.
I think the Big 12 and the Pac-10 are the 2 best conferences this year. The SEC maybe a notch below. Now the SEC teams play all the home games. They got 10 of their 12 teams play 7 or more home games, so they got a better chance to get there than the Pac-10 does or the Big 12 because they're playing each other, and most of those teams only have 6 home games. But if I was Adrian, I wouldn't say Texas too loud on that sideline.
Here's Oklahoma's schedule, and Mike, one of the things you talked about in the opening is before they cross the Red River, as the expression goes, to go down to the State Fair and play Texas, they got K-State the week before.
Yeah, that's tough. You got K-State and Texas back-to-back. You got to go to Lincoln. You got to go to the championship game. But I'll tell you, a Big 12 team could get there with 1 loss because they could win that championship game, have a loss during the season, win a championship game, and still go to the national championship.
Sims made the tackle on Hibble, and it looks as though, yep, got a fist in the air. It's going to be 4th down.
Ron, the thing I like about Oklahoma, and I think people all over the country will reassess them now and maybe say they should be #1 because they're playing so well out of the box. Their defense is good. Their offense has struggled a little bit here in the first half, and I'm not sold on that just yet. The kicking game's been real good, but the chemistry on this football team, when you talk to the players, they keep talking about the chemistry. Josh Heupel last year, they said, was the hardest working player on the football team. That's your quarterback. So that's a good example. But all these players get along, and they get along with the coaching staff. And so it's hard to beat a team with good chemistry.
Yeah, good, young, hardworking staff that has really fit in extremely well here in Norman. You could see 4th down and 6. He waited for the delay of game. Waddell, who returned one 89 yards for a touchdown, they're saying officially now, is the man who's back deep. And he runs away from this one as the kick is to the far side of the field and going to go out of bounds at the 10-yard line. Folks, just remember one thing. When you win conference championships and when you win national championships, you got to have great special teams, and a lot of times the guys are overlooked. Their kicking game between Tim Duncan and Jeff Ferguson, you said it last year in the national championship game, Ferguson was an absolute weapon, and he has been that way here tonight.
Well, you start off with the kickoff. It goes in the end zone, so you're always starting on the 20. The punter keeps you. Ferguson keeps you in the hole all night.
Well, he's had 2 inside the 10. One was down at the 1. This one here is right at the 10-yard line.
Yeah, you got to play together. Your special teams, your offense and defense, and they do that here at Oklahoma.
So the clock runs down, and the applause starts for the defending national champion Oklahoma Sooners as they head to the locker room, and for good reason. 41-14, and I don't think anybody has been disappointed in what they saw in the first half. Long kick return by North Carolina, and an interception by Julius Peppers for a touchdown. Reese Davis, BYU scored a lot of points today, and we got a big one going down here in Norman, Oklahoma. Let's go back to you.
Yeah, it seems to be the order of the day, Ron. I hope you guys avoid the literal lightning, but the figurative lightning has already struck in the form of the Oklahoma defense. Just a dominating performance in the first half, 41-14 at the break. Coming up on 41-14, Oklahoma has been devastating. They have the huge lead over North Carolina at the break. But Chris Fowler and the Game Day guys are here. And Chris, really, it seems like a devastating performance, but it has been really just on one side of the ball for Oklahoma in the first half.
So that reads 41 points off 138 offensive yards for the Sooners. They're scoring every which way, Lee.
You know, the interesting thing about me is Oklahoma special teams and defense scored 7 touchdowns last year, the whole year. Tonight, they've got 3 already, and my friend next to me, Kirk, says they might get 5, and he might be right. In fact, Oklahoma might score more points tonight than most teams scored on the North Carolina basketball team last year. They only averaged, giving up 69 points.
Doing your research, aren't you? You know what? I think that looking at this Oklahoma offense, it reminds me a lot of what we saw late in the year when Josh Heupel was under center, when they played Oklahoma State and Texas Tech late in the year. It seemed like teams were beginning to figure them out. A lot of short passes, wide, but not many passes downfield. So just reserve judgment right now on Nate Hibble. The game's moving very fast for him. It's spinning. It's like in fast forward. After a few games under his belt, hopefully it'll slow down for him and allow him to make some more throws. But right now, they need to give him a chance to throw the ball downfield because that North Carolina defense is just coming up and making the plays.
What scares me is the Heels travel to Texas in 2 weeks. That could be ugly as well. Nebraska today, should the Husker fans be alarmed that 9 out of 14 drives were less than 15 yards. They had 14 negative-yard rushing plays today.
Well, I think this is a lot of what we've seen the last couple years with Nebraska. Nebraska can no longer line up and just overpower teams, especially the good teams. Lee and I were talking about this earlier. Teams are going to begin to just crowd the line of scrimmage, put 10 guys, 9 or 10 guys up there to try to take away the run, force them to throw the football. And until they prove they can do that, it's going to be tough. I don't care how big their line is, and I don't care how good Eric Crouch is. They need more play-action passes to settle that defense.
TCU, Kirk, did a perfect job of going after them. They came on the corners, put the pressure on Eric Crouch, forced him into 3rd and long. 3rd and long, 19 times. Nebraska made 9. That's where they're going to lose the big ball games, if people can force them in 3rd and long.
Drop passes hurt them too. They'll have to execute much better, be much more balanced when Notre Dame comes calling on September the 8th. By the way, we can't wait for Nebraska, Oklahoma, the 27th of October in Lincoln. Reese.
Got that schedule all figured out already, don't you? We've already seen Oklahoma, or we're seeing them. We've seen Nebraska. We get a chance to see Colorado, another team from the Big 12. That's coming up tomorrow night on ESPN2 in the Jim Thorpe Classic. Maybe a dangerous game for the Buffaloes as they take on David Carr and Fresno State. Comes your way Sunday night, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. We will look forward to that game when we continue on SportsCenter Endgame. Rocky Kalmus coming up with the big defensive plays throughout the first half of this game. Oklahoma is rolling 41-14.
Peppers. 41-14 as we prepare for the 3rd quarter of the Hispanic College Fund Classic. And Mike Gottfried, as far as this football game is concerned, certainly it's not over, but well, 41-14, yeah, it is. The turnovers, climb. Yeah, big uphill climb. 5 turnovers, and they came early, and that was the difference in this football game.
Really, when you look at the way this game started, I really believed that something good had to happen in North Carolina right off, and it didn't. But this has not been a good game for either offense. I haven't seen Oklahoma in sync. You look at both the passing yards right there for Oklahoma, 77 yards, 61 for North Carolina. But the turnovers, that has been the whole story, in special teams breakdowns.
Well, let's take a look at some of those highlights in the first half of the special teams and also interception returns for a touchdown.
Go ahead, Ron. Savage.
Savage on the long kick return, and he gets some great blocking up front.
Derek Strait with a good interception. He read the eyes of Ronald Curry and shows pretty good athletic ability, and then picked up some good blocks by his cohorts on defense to get in the end zone.
Nate Hibble warming up on the sideline. Numbers were not bad, but he did throw an interception for a touchdown. You can see 11 of 16, 77 yards. Peppers made the pickoff and took it back into the end zone. How much longer do you think we'll see him before White gets an opportunity?
I think we're going to see him for a while, Ron, because they've got to work out the rough spots, and he's had several in this first half.
Adrian Carson, let's check with you.
John, Ron, rather, if you're John Bunting in your coaching debut and your team is getting blown out by the defending national champion at halftime, what do you tell your team in the locker room at halftime? Tell them just this. This is a great opportunity. This is what I told you from the day we started practice. I just want you guys to work hard. Well, that's the problem for the defense. They've been working so hard, they're absolutely exhausted. As I expected, before we kicked off, we talked about the heat index. There are guys in this defense who are so exhausted now, they lost 6 to 7 pounds in the first half in perspiration alone, Ron. Pass rush after pass rush, they're totally exhausted.
Well, boy, because of those early turnovers, they really played virtually the entire first quarter, and then a lot in the second quarter as well. They come with the blitz as the pass is swung out to Griffin, and Hey, he's only 5'7". You can see him put his head down, and Kevin Knight trying to run over it.
Going back to John Bunning and adding to what Adrian just talked about, John Bunning has to take this as a starting point. You're going to get better. And it reminds me of the story of Oklahoma last year. Roy Williams told me, the defensive back, he said they went back and watched every week's tape, and they said we were bad on the first week last year and we got better. And that's what you want in a team, to get better every week, and John Bunning will strive for that with his team.
Griffin on the running play. Nice defensive move, Carolina. Coming up to stop the hold as Will Chapman is down on the bottom of the pile, and Ryan Sims, number 87, is the man who was on top of the tackle.
And Will Chapman, Ryan Sims, and add Jerry Evans in there and Julius Peppers. It's a pretty good front four. And when you're second in the ACC in total defense, that says a lot. And this North Carolina defensive team will be good this year. They just need the offense to get up to their standard.
Third down, Oklahoma. They need the 30-yard line. They're 2 of 8 on third down conversions tonight. They have missed their last 5. You look at Brandon Jones, a freshman, going in motion and resetting. Griffin not going to get the 30-yard line. That's a good open field tackle by David Thornton. He picks up where he left off in the first half.
And you make a good point right there. Missed the last 5 third down attempts. That's not what this offense is built around. And Mark Mangino is not going to be happy with Nate Hibble, because you want those chains to move. This is an underneath passing game that you want the chains to move to conserve the clock and get points on the board.
Aiken, the deep man, waiting to retrieve this punt by Jeff Ferguson. This is a beauty. Driving him all the way back to the 14-yard line. Aiken splits the 2 gunners and almost got by the second wave. College football tomorrow night on ESPN2. Quarterback David Carr and the Fresno State Bulldogs are in Boulder to take on Colorado. Buffalo's looking for a return to prominence after a 3-8 season last year. It's the Jim Thorpe Classic, 8 o'clock Eastern. For more, log on to ESPN.com, your home for college football on the internet.
Pat Hill's done a nice job at Fresno, and that would go a long way for the WAC if they could find a way to knock off the Buffaloes.
Mike, in the first half, I was talking about Jeff Ferguson. That was a 56-yard punt by him just now.
He's a weapon.
Parker squeezes by 1 tackle, will not get by Derek Strait, number 2.
The part of the game so far has been Ferguson, the special teams, and the Oklahoma defense. They run to the ball very well.
Storms getting closer to Norman as the handoff goes to Parker. Cuts that one back upfield. You hear a loud clap of thunder to the south.
I think the referees are going to look at this real closely and may move both these teams off the field.
No, Adrian Karsten is right there, and he can. Adrian, what happened in the conversation?
They're making a decision right now. As a matter of fact, the chairman of the Hispanic College Fund is making a phone call right now to find out what the weather forecast is. I'm standing with the referee. They're taking the water out of the huddles, anticipating continuing right now. Within 2 or 3 feet of the referee, I'll have something here shortly, Ron.
Okay, Adrian, that's great. You know, last year we were playing up in Blacksburg, or planning to play Georgia Tech and Virginia Tech, and that game got wiped out because of bad weather. And the obvious thing, you don't want to take a chance if there's lightning.
I'd have thought they'd have made that phone call at halftime. It's right around us. But you don't want to take a chance.
So let's take a break and we'll sort it out. And when we come back, maybe we'll have an answer for you. 41-14 Oklahoma. Right back.
ESPN's presentation of the 2001 Hispanic College Fund Classic is brought to you by AT&T. Wired, wireless, business, broadband. Boundless.
Downtown Norman, Oklahoma. The situation, we've had a delay because some lightning has cracked out of the sky a couple of times in the last 2 minutes. Adrian's down on the sideline. Adrian, what are you hearing?
There was a lightning strike 2 miles south of us right now, and what the referee and the assistant AD are trying to do right now is determine which way that is moving. They tell us the local police department says it was a ground strike. The referee wants to know how long that's going to take to move away from us.
It isn't 2 miles from us, it's 6 miles.
6 miles away. And which way is the storm moving, sir?
Moving away from us, south.
What is the referee's decision? We're going to continue at this point?
Yes, continuing.
Larry Nafee, associate athletic director here at Oklahoma, has made that decision.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what, this was handled quickly and was handled well. And again, to reiterate, and not to overstate the obvious, but there's no way that a chance should be taken for the fans or the players or anybody else. So they checked on it very quickly, and we're back to action. 1st and 10 for the Tar Heels. Curry running for his life. Flag comes down, and he is going to be tackled by Terrence Sims. And that flag, and it brings up a point of a rule change this year, I think the most significant rule change of all the changes that came along, and that's going to be holding. In the past, it would have come from where the holding took place. Right. Mike, now it goes from what is called previous spot, which is the line of scrimmage.
I like this rule
I do too.
Because you got so many long yardage situations before that just couldn't make them up. Now, defensive coaches are watching tonight saying, hey, that's wrong. Back them up. But being an offensive coach, I like this rule.
I think it's going to be Jupiter Wilson was holding on to dear life for Tommy Harris, who was just coming pell-mell after the quarterback.
Pressure again. The offensive line for North Carolina has really absorbed blocks. Ronald Curry running for his life.
So the 10-yard penalty, and it's now 1st down and 20. It's a pass out on the flat, kind of looped it out there, and this is Sam Aiken. And Aiken is going to take it to the 30-yard line. It will be a gain of about 4 yards in the play. Dan Cody made the tackle.
Adrian was right on the sprint, wasn't he? I mean, he was on a dead sprint. I thought maybe he'd call Willard Scott.
Willard couldn't have moved like that.
No.
Joe Castiglione, the athletic director here at Oklahoma, now down on the sideline as well. It's Aiken in motion to the top of your screen. Curry retreats. Good protection this time, and he threw it in the ground.
That's the type of pass Gary Tranquil says he has the most problems with. Ronald Curry. Finesse pass, about the 8-10-yard pass. And believe me, this is Gary Tranquil right here. Ronald Curry is going to get better under the tutelage of this guy. This guy can coach. He's coached at the Cleveland Browns, the Michigan State program, Virginia under George Welsh. This guy knows football. He will get Ronald Curry playing.
Curry's numbers 4 of 12, 1 interception, total of 65 yards tonight. 3rd down, they need to take it to the 47. Curry going to be hit, gets the ball away, and incomplete. Threw it too tall for Willie Parker, and it's Rocky Kalmus who was all over it.
And that's the other problem that Gary Tranquil sees in Ronald Curry. Sometimes he won't let loose of the football.
It's got windy here. Very windy. I guess that's the reason that verse says it, huh? When the wind comes sweeping down the plain. Who wrote the words to that?
He was in the press box.
Been around here, yeah. 6th time the Carolinas had to kick tonight. Of the 25, it's Mackey. Flag from the near sideline.
Blocking in the back.
Isaiah Robinson making the tackle on the special teams. 44 on the kick and 6 on the return.
And we talk about special teams the first week. Sometimes you have the wrong players on special teams and you don't know it. And they'll go back and look at this tape and say, okay, we'll replace this guy because he doesn't have good judgment.
Well, some folks are calling home to check with the folks. 41-14, I guess. We'll be right back.
he's coaching. Mark Mangino, the offensive coordinator, saw a play in the first half. Saw Julius Peppers close on a play, and then he came right back and made an adjustment. We'll look at it after this play.
Hibble puts it in the stomach of Griffin. Gets by one tackler, but then is going to be knocked down again by David Thornton. Okay, let's show the play that you're talking about.
Here's teaching right here. Julius Peppers is going to close down and give the ball to Quentin Griffin, and he makes the play. Now, a little later, they come back with the same play. The quarterback keeps it. All of a sudden, Isaac Mooring. Yeah, space. He bought it, and you get outside of him. So a good adjustment by the Oklahoma coaches.
Second down and 10. Under 10 minutes to play, third quarter. Carolina shows blitz, and here they come. Flags down all over the place. Probably an early start by one of those linemen.
They saw the blitz coming. They got a little anxious, started moving around, and pick up a penalty. Tried to cheat a little bit to get the block.
On Thursday, the Sooners spent a lot of time both before the official practice started and during practice on blitz pickup.
Yeah, you better be able to pick up the blitz when you spread out like they do. And again, we're talking about 5 offensive linemen and 1 back in pass protection. You see now all 4 wide receivers are spread.
Quick pass. Fagan. And he is going to be hit and knocked back. That's a gain of about maybe a yard on the play. And again, David Thornton. He's got to be in double figures on tackles tonight. Thornton's been everywhere, under every situation.
Ron, here's what I'm talking about. The 5 offensive linemen, they've got 4 guys to block here and 1 linebacker. That linebacker, the center, will work his way. The running back gets the linebacker on the other side. So it's 6 guys working together. Blocking. Pass protection. The back releases because the linebacker didn't come. So clear picture for the offensive lineman.
Got it. Fagan. Out at the 41-yard line. It's good for 25 yards.
Ron, I believe that was 2 deep coverage, and that's a good sign for the Oklahoma offense because it's a first long throw they've made here. Here's the 2 deep corner in the on the hash or in the middle of the football field. No, that's a busted. That was the inside. We didn't have the outside receiver on 2 deep. But that's what happened on the play.
Hibble's going to call a timeout. As you can see, that time for a change, he was under center. So he'll stop the clock with 8:26 left, third quarter, and the Sooners still on top, 41-14. (41-14), and boy, those cool units on the sideline are really coming in handy. As this night it is still very warm, although the wind has really picked up in the last 15 minutes. Ronaldo works in the ball game. He gets the pitch. Tries to turn the corner, and that is a very nice job by Dexter Reed. Also Quincy Monk out there, but Reed just had good containment.
Yeah, and I'm standing up here, and I think the one thing that Oklahoma's offensive coaches would like to see is a drive where they go all the way down the football field, take some time off that clock, but prove to themselves they can drive the football the length of the field. And that's what's going through that man's mind right now. He wants to see a drive. Consistent play calling and consistent drive.
Swings this one out. Works again. Hit at the line of scrimmage. And the crowd getting a little anxious right now as Errol Hood made the tackle because, Mike, all of the passes have been away from the line of scrimmage. Whatever the vertical hasn't been much there.
I can tell you they're not happy with the offense tonight.
You talking about the Oklahoma coaches?
Oh, Oklahoma coaches. They can't be happy with this because it's now they may say they are, but there's concerns right now being able to take the ball the length of the field. They haven't shown that tonight.
This time he goes right down the middle of the field. Had a man there and overthrew Lance Donnelly, the sophomore out of Weatherford.
Think any Big 12 coaches are watching tonight?
I have a feeling the entire family's on the network tonight watching with great interest. And you can't blame him. Boy, as tight as this conference, as tight as this conference race appears as though it's going to be. Jeff Ferguson, look at that average. Over 47 yards a kick. Aiken is the deep man again. Just as I bragged on him, it looked like a
bad snap.
Yeah, it was a bad snap.
We'll cover up for him.
We're still not going to let him get from the 25-yard line. 38 on the kick, 3 on the return. Adrian, what do you have for us, partner?
Ron, while you're standing by, another question from the Ask Adrian website. Jeff Mann in Oshkosh B'gosh, Wisconsin wants to know where do they keep the Sooner schooner and who gets to steer it? Jeff, the answer is far corner of the end zone. Second half of the question was, oh yeah, who gets to steer it? Stand by. You're going to find out firsthand.
Oh, no, this one scares me. I saw you run with Ralphie. I hope we don't see you. Okay, we'll wait.
He'll kill those ponies.
Andre Williams comes in at tailback, replacing Willie Parker. And Andre gets the ball. Puts a head down, and that's a good, tough run. He takes it ahead for about 6 yards in the play. Lehman and Tommy Harris combining for the stop.
Before that play, North Carolina had 16 yards rushing. You don't win games rushing for only 16 yards. They haven't been able to take the pressure off of Ronald Curry in the passing game there. They have the inability to run against this defense has cost North Carolina.
Well, they only had 10 yards at halftime. Of course, we're looking at after the sack yardage comes off. Curry throwing back over the middle to Bosley Allen.
That's what you'll see a little bit more of Ronald Curry as we go down the schedule. A little bit more rolling out because he's more comfortable doing that. Sprints out to the right. Looks like he's at home there and then takes a shot from Teddy Lehman.
Curry now 5 of 14, 1 interception, and 73 yards. Here comes the blitz off the corner by Roy Williams, and he gets to him. Williams, the All-American safety, you could see him creeping up on the right side, and then he really came after him with a burst of speed.
There's not many better in this country than Roy Williams in the secondary, and Bob Stoops, Mike Stoops say he's the best player they've coached. And he comes around, he blitzes, he could be a linebacker, he's a secondary guy. Outstanding young player.
Here's another guy. I talked about Calmus being a quiet guy and leading by example. And Williams is the same way. He's not much of a talker.
No, he's not.
Just under 5.5 minutes to play, third quarter. They come with a blitz off the corner again. And Curry, no place to run. Boy, there's crimson jerseys in every direction that he looks. Finally tackled by Matt McCoy, who's a sophomore out of Jinx, Oklahoma, just outside of Tulsa.
Pretty good high school football program.
Yeah, they
Jinx High School.
Consistently good. Under 5 minutes as the clock is running at 4 minutes and 56 seconds.
Number of Texas players on the Oklahoma roster. Big between Texas and Oklahoma.
Well, Tommy Harris, who we've talked so much about tonight, at one time had committed to Texas and then changed his mind and came to Norman. Here they come again with the blitz. Picked up nicely. Calmus. What a ball game. 2 fumble recoveries. One of those fumble recoveries for a touchdown. We'll get his official number on tackles, but now he has a sack.
I like the way he made that tackle, Ron. It looked like Ronald Curry was going to escape, but he's a sure tackler. 7 tackles, 2 fumble recoveries. Little twist going on, a little delayed stunt, but he makes a sure tackle, grabs that ankle and won't leave it go.
What good feet. Watching the adjustment that he made, got a fake to the left and cut back to the right. Very, very good athlete. Lafferty the kick, Mackey the deep man. Mack makes one person miss and then as a flag comes from way downfield. He gets hammered out of bounds. 51 yards in the kick and 6 on the return. And it's Madison Hedgecock, who's the backup fullback on the special teams. So not trying to steal the thoughts of the coaches, but you were talking about the offense. Now the special teams on the last couple of kicks have had a block in the back.
Starting to get sloppy.
Yeah, the long kick return by North Carolina. And so again, it's one of those things where it's early, but even by Oklahoma leading 41-14, they got a lot of things to work on.
And when you get tired, you start to make some mistakes. And that's what's happening now to the special teams of Oklahoma.
Heupel out to Griffin. 10 yards in the play, 11 and now 12. And again, who's on the tackle? Thornton.
Thornton's been the most valuable player on this North Carolina football team tonight. Ron, I keep saying that if you're Bobby Stoops and Mark Mangino, you want to see a drive. The longest drive they've had tonight, 7 plays, 44 yards.
And that was early on, and that was the second touchdown, I believe.
Early
Mike,
on, and what you like to see right now is go about 75 yards and a number of plays and get in that end zone and get some confidence.
Griffin. Flag comes down. Tackled again by Thornton.
Brandon Jones might get called for holding.
You're right. Brandon Jones holding Kevin Knight.
Assistant Coach of the Year last year, Mark Mangino
won the Broyles Award. Yeah.
Was Memphis was interested in him being the head coach. He has strong loyalties to Bobby Stoops. Coached together at Kansas State. A lot of these guys are from the Bill Snyder School at Kansas State.
Yeah, in fact, when we did the Drew Brees come from behind victory for K-State down in San Antonio in that bowl game, Mark Mangino was the offensive coordinator. Brent Venables and Mike Stoops were the co-defensive coordinators for Bill Snyder at that time. So the penalty is going to move it back to around the 18-yard line. About to go under 3 minutes to play third quarter.
The penalty moves the ball back to the 19-yard line, where it's 1st and 20.
Well overthrown, and the ball was thrown out of bounds as well. Crowd wanted pass interference.
Michael Waddell, number 18, and Brandon Jones got tied up, and fans wanted a pass interference, but couldn't make that call.
Mike, your point is well taken. Also, when you look at the official stats on tonight's ballgame, the fact that Oklahoma, even though they have 41 points, has still not reached 200 yards in total offense.
No, 124 passing yards.
Gibble's going to have to call another timeout. So 3:06 remaining, third quarter. With more from Norman after we pause for this. Ronald Curry on the far sidelines. His team down 41-14, and Darian Durant has been up warming up on the far sideline. The freshman out of Florence, South Carolina, wondered if maybe North Carolina might make a change on the next series. Here comes the blitz. Hibble steps up and off the mark. You could see the double coverage, but Antoine Savage just couldn't be fast enough to catch that one.
Good defense by North Carolina. Errol Hood and Billy D. Greenwood doubled the receiver that Nate Hibble was trying to go to.
And on that incompletion, 3 minutes exactly left in the third quarter. Look at the third down conversions. First 5 minutes, 2 of 3 since 1 of 8. The line to make, they need to take it all the way out to the 39-yard line. Shovel pass, Griffin, and Carolina has diagnosed that one pretty well. And I'll tell you what, very close to a silly play by Billy T. Greenwood there. Almost a late hit.
Tell you exactly what's going to happen. North Carolina, John Bunning right now, he's revived because he has to feel good about the way his defense, John Tenuta, if they didn't give him all those turnovers in the first half, this would be a football game because their defense is playing well enough to hold the Oklahoma offense.
Ferguson with his 7th punt of the night. Again, Sam Aiken, the deep man, he's dropped off all the way back to the 35-yard line. With the driving kick, going to have this one at the 35. And ran right into the special team player, Rocky Calvis.
Great blocks on that return.
Coming up later on ESPN at Sports Center, college football buffet. Tigers charge at Firestone, and USA Little League Shocker. Catch them all. The highlights and scores for more. Log on to ESPN.com. How about that team from Florida? The young man they interviewed one of the youngsters for the ball game, and he said, hey, they beat us the other night. We are ready. They ain't going to beat us tonight. Darian Durant has come into quarterback. Freshman out of Florence, South Carolina. And gives it to Willie Parker. He got by Lehman, but then is not going to get by Roy Williams and Andre Wolfo.
Gary Tranquil talked to me about Durant, and he said he's a slinger. He said, but he's a playmaker. All the time in practice, he would move the chain. 69 touchdown passes in high school in Florence, South Carolina. He just makes things happen. Let's see if he can give a little spark to this offense.
And quarterback for the Tar Heels is number 11, Terry Durant.
Sets and throws just. I'm not too sure that that ball might not have been tipped at the line of scrimmage.
You see, he throws real low, and he's a sidearm slinger.
Look at the numbers there. Certainly a disappointing evening for him. The one pick for a touchdown. 74 yards, 5 of 14.
It's not going to get any easier because he's going to play some real good defenses here at the first 5 football games.
Well, and they go on the road again next week to play Maryland. Then they hop on a plane and go out to Austin, Texas to play. Then they go home for SMU, and the 5th game is Florida State. Durant has this one. No, incomplete. Corey Bailey. Now, did he have possession and then fumble?
No.
Look, yeah, they're saying incomplete pass, and that's a good call. Did not just grab the ball and hold on to it for a split second.
Durant, pretty good arm, hitting Corey Bailey over the middle. Low ball, and he just never brought it back into his body.
Brandon Shelby came up to make the hit on him, so it's 4th down and 8. Damian Mackey running to the near sideline. Calls for the fair catch and is going to make it at the 10.
With a fair catch at the 10-yard line.
So 40 yards in the kick, and let's take a look at that schedule. This is what I was talking about. First 3 games on the road. Next week, Maryland and Texas. And go home to play SMU, Florida State. Then go to NC State.
And by playing 12 games, it's electing to play this game. You got to win 7 to go to a bowl. And that's a pretty tough schedule to find 7 wins.
Well, when you look the other road games here, Clemson and Georgia Tech, both of them very good football teams.
I think what you have to come out of with John Bunning tonight, electing to play this game, is you know what it's going to take now to win. And you go back and iron out these mistakes, and you get ready for the next ball game. But where you're going to be hurt a little bit, your defense is going to come out of this game feeling pretty good about themselves. Your offense is going to come out with confidence problems.
Ronaldo Works caught that swing pass and was tackled by Waddell.
Now, Oklahoma, the offensive comparisons. So John Bunning can draw a lot of good pluses from this effort, especially by his defense. Still, Oklahoma's looking for a drive.
2 seconds on the play clock. Going to get it off. And up the far sideline. That ball is caught by, let's see, it's Antoine Savage.
Well, that was great concentration by Antoine Savage because of good coverage by Errol Hood. And he had his hands up there, and you always do a drill where you'll wrap your arms around if you're the coach and the ball goes through it. So you got to concentrate on making that catch. That's a great catch.
He got off with a little push too, didn't he?
Yeah, he got a little get away with a little bit on the receivers. He get bumped around.
Griffin Edwards in the backfield this time. One as Griffin went through the hole. He got whacked by one of them.
Welcome to North Carolina.
Adrian Carson, let's check with you.
I warned you, it was really Josh from Norman who had the question or suggestion on the Ask Adrian website tonight. Can you really sit side saddle? Call that shotgun and take a ride on the Sooner Schooner. Stand by.
Okay, Adrian. Now this, they won't ride until they score. Is that right?
Going to make one exception tonight, Ron. They're going to do it between quarters, between the third and fourth quarter. This is one tight-knit family here, but they're let me be a cousin here.
Do me a favor, make him go slow.
Those poor ponies carrying him.
Pass just beyond the hands of Curtis Fagan. But see, I know the direction that they go. He's sitting on the inside as far as the weight, not the outside. Well, the crowd got a chance to see a replay on that, and they disagreed, thought that maybe there was pass interference. 5 seconds left in the third quarter.
Till Adrian makes his big ride.
Josh Norman checks into the lineup. He's one of the H-backs. Senior out of Midland Lee, number 3. As they get it out to Ronaldo Works. Cuts nicely behind the block and is going to take it to the 45-yard line. And that is the end of the third quarter. And we head to the final 15 minutes here in Norman, Oklahoma. And Adrian is about to make his ride as we go to break. Oklahoma 41 and North Carolina 14. So we prepare for the final 15 minutes of action here from Memorial Stadium in Norman, Oklahoma. 41-14. The Sooners on top.
And another third down, Ron, that Mark Mangino's hoping this offense can get and keep moving the football.
Well, Adrian, we'll show you in a minute whether he made his ride or not. Here comes the third down. The pickup line, they got to take it to the 50 to convert. You see the stunt up front going to be hit, and he is sacked by Reed. Dexter Reed coming from his safety position, and he makes the tackle.
And Dexter Reed's on every special team for North Carolina, so you know he's got to be tired in this football game. Makes a great effort to sack Nate Hibble.
4 sacks by the Carolina defense tonight. Ferguson again to punt to Sam Aiken. Now runs away from him because that gunner was very, very close to him. Probably a wise move so he didn't turn it over. And they're going to touch it dead at the 13. So you ask Adrian if he would ride the Sooner Schooner. Here's what happened.
Josh from Norman, Oklahoma, logged on to ESPN.com and asked Adrian, can you take a ride on the Sooner Schooner? Well, here I am, riding shotgun. Only 2 horsepower, but I got to tell you, this is the only vehicle in college football that ever got a 15-yard penalty for unsportsmanlike conduct back in the '85
Sidearms this one up the field, had a man there, and he overthrew. Adrian, I can only say probably, no, there is a flag down.
Roughing the passer.
Ron, if you ever take that ride, watch the tunnel.
Watch the tunnel.
I mean, you go into some of these parking garages that says 6'6" clearance. Well, I'm 6'6" plus 1, and I really ducked. I mean, like right now. That doesn't last very long, and believe me, you got to lean, even if you are 265. So there you have it.
Well, that's what I was going to say. 265. No more siring for those ponies.
Maybe on the wagon, but I might need a sarsaparilla after that ride, I got to tell you.
So they're going to call. Here's what he was talking about. Duck your head. It is roughing the passer. And the penalty moves it out to the 30-yard line. Carolina still trying to pick up their 100th yard offensively in this game. They have 90 as of right now. Got the pass complete, and he takes it out to the 40-yard line. Good for the first down is Borders.
It's always easier for the second quarterback to come in this situation because the game's decided. But Darian Durant is playing well, and he's moving this offensive football team, and he's going to put a little pressure on Ronald Curry.
Durant, it's interesting that he throws sidearm because he's only 5'11", but he weighs 226 pounds. He's going to carry this one. Has 5, has 10, and as Gary Tranquil, the offensive coordinator, says he's a playmaker.
Make things happen, and that's what you want out of a quarterback. You want to get excited. You want to get your teammates excited.
19 yards on this scramble. Watch it.
It's a good block.
71, that's Jupiter Wilson.
Yeah, Jupiter made a good play, and then he shows good speed. He covers up the football and picks up the first down. This is a nice drive for North Carolina. And Durant's got to finish it off now.
Draw play this time. Williams tackled by Kalmus.
And Ron, because it's the first football game, you got to leave your starters in. You got to get them used to playing a full ball game.
Under 13 minutes left to play in this one. Kalmus, 12 tackles for him tonight. And as we mentioned earlier, 2 fumble recoveries, one of those for a touchdown. Durant, pressure on him, drills it, and caught. Nice job by Bosley Allen.
Nice job by Durant. He stood in there. He saw the blitz coming, and he took the hit from Brandon Shelby, number 5. He's going to take the hit. He sees it coming. He feels it coming. He takes the hit and completes the pass to Bosley Allen. That's pretty impressive. Good effort. You're talking about concentration now.
Bosley Allen really helped out his quarterback, who, as Mike said, took a chance and was punished on the play. First down, North Carolina. Now the crowd getting involved. They want to see this one stop. That ball tipped and knocked down. Was it caught in the air? No.
Jimmy Wilkerson.
Jimmy Wilkerson tipped the ball. It's the same thing as an incomplete forward pass.
Cactus Jack Curtis. Utah. I believe he invented that play. Utah pass. Trying to get to Andre Williams.
Heineke took off and thought maybe they didn't see that it touched the ball. Second down and 10. Sidearms this one complete. This is Aiken. I beg your pardon, Borders, and Borders will take it in for the touchdown. 27 yards.
And you have a great effort by Darian Durant. It's all you ask for is somebody to be excited and give you a play.
I'll tell you what, he certainly quieted this crowd of 70,000 plus here in Norman.
He slings it. It was a Billy Kilmer or Sonny Jurgensen with the sidearm guys.
Jurgensen. 6 plays, 86 yards. Extra point knocked home by Bender. Let me tell you something. I had made the comment just prior when he came in that they had 90 total yards. That drive, he almost drove them as far as they had driven for the first part of the ball game. So let's take a break. 41-21. The lead is cut to 20.
ESPN's presentation of the 2001 Hispanic College Fund Classic is brought to you by Wrangler. Real, comfortable jeans. And by NFL Tonight, Tuesday through Saturday nights on ESPN2.
So, 20-point ball game, 41-21 with 11 minutes and 59 seconds. John Bunting, as I mentioned early on in the broadcast, said I asked my kids to do one thing, and that is play hard. As you look at the drive, 86 yards, 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Borders scores the touchdown from 27 yards out. And I'll tell you, not just the defense, now the offense playing hard for North Carolina.
Oklahoma going to take a timeout, Ron. They've got 11 on the field.
Are they taking a timeout, or is it the official coming over to?
I think they signaled Oklahoma. Timeout. Now, if you're Oklahoma, do you bring in Jason White, the backup quarterback? And Nate Hibbles had a fair outing. Inability to take the ball on long drives. Now do you give the young sophomore a chance, who was neck and neck for the quarterback spot, but Nate won over. He was in the quarterback battle at Georgia, probably helped him.
Hibbles' numbers 20 of 29, 1 interception, 152 yards.
Yeah, not a bad night. Just the offense just couldn't sustain a drive. You'd take those numbers.
We can tell you that during the break, the referee came over and talked again with school officials because the Lightning is getting rather close here in Norman. Bender kicking off and going to be retrieved at the 12-yard line by Savage. Out over the 35 or around the 36-yard line. 25 yards on the return. Waddell making the tackle on the special teams.
It's going to be Jason White.
And a response from the crowd.
The crowd always likes the second guy.
Jason, 6'2", 220, a senior out of Tulsa. Or Tuttle, I should say. And he is a sophomore. Fagan breaks a tackle. So now another number 2 comes in and moves the offense. 25 yards in the play.
Just sitting back in there against zone coverage. Finds Curtis Fagan on an under route. Turns it into a big play. Now this is the drive you've been looking for.
They have 26 yards on the pass play. First down Sooners from the 37.
Ronaldo Works checks into the lineup, number 47. Works gets it, sweep to the right. And he's got about 8 yards on that play as Thornton will make the tackle. Thornton probably has as many tackles as Kalmus does for Oklahoma, if not more.
He has had a great football game on defense.
They've got him down for 11. I'm not questioning the official stat people, but it's almost like it's even more than that. We have called his name so many times tonight.
And he's matched up with Quentin Griffin a lot in pass coverage, so he's had an interesting evening. Been involved.
Second and 2. Griffin. Bends around, knock him back and forth like a ball in a pinball machine. He's not going to have the first down. They're still going to have about 1.5 yards as Billy D. Greenwood came up from the secondary.
Again, a good front, defensive front of North Carolina, and if you want to have a good defense, you start with the front. If you've got a good defensive front, you can be good on defense. And I'll say another thing for John Bunny. His team has not quit here tonight. They didn't throw in the towel when they got way behind. They fought hard. They played well here in the second half.
They're going to have to hurry here. 4 seconds, down to 3 on the play clock. And the pitch to Griffin, and look at this pursuit. And Monk is going to get credit for the tackle, but the guy was out there to hit him first. Was Thornton.
He stopped for a loss on the goal line. Quincy Monk.
You know, Mike, I think a lot of defensive coaches are going to want to get this video from this ball game tonight, even though Carolina's down as big as they are because of the job that they have done.
They've done a great job. They have not allowed big plays. They have not allowed a drive.
Carolina's going to call a timeout to slow things down because Duncan was about to attempt a 52-yard field goal. His career long is 46. Adrian, let's check to the sideline with you. What do you got going?
The pleasure of standing between Nate Hiddle's parents, Tom and Cheryl from Hazelhurst, Georgia. Tom, you coached your son in high school. Did you ever think the moment would come to start a quarterback for the national champion?
Well, it's been a great experience for Nate. He didn't come here to start with. He transferred here a couple of years ago, and to get involved with the national championship has been a really great experience for him.
What has he called home about? To fill in the shoes of Josh Heupel, who unfortunately just got cut yesterday, but what did he go through? The stomach pains, the psychological travesty he might have experienced over the past couple of weeks while the decision was being made?
Well, he felt real confident and had a great experience with Coach Stoops and Coach Long, and of course he got caught behind Quincy Carter at Georgia and then behind Josh here. So it's been a long, hard 3 years of perseverance, and Nate showed a lot of character, sticking to it, doing a great job, and he's done a good job today. So the Sooners. We wanted to try to put this game away, though.
Last couple of series of the first half, early on in the second half, things were a little bit rusty. What do you think his reaction is going to be?
Well, I know he thinks he's got a lot of work to do, and this is a team situation in front of 80,000 folks. So I know coaches kept the game plan a little bit simple and underneath, tried to take the pressure off him. They scored a bunch of points early defensively, so that's really helped. But Nate's got a long ways to go. This is just the beginning.
Ron, Tom, and Cheryl, very happy parents. Their other son, Ryan, has won a national championship ring playing golf back at Georgia. So proud family I'm with tonight.
Okay, that's great. You could see the Sooners changed their mind. They decided not to go for the 52-yard field goal. And Duncan was really upset with himself because he kicked that ball a lot farther than he had anticipated. So they have the touchback. And there's a timeout. 9 minutes, 31 seconds left in the game. Sooners continue to lead by 20. Just over 9.5 minutes left in this one. And Carolina back out on offense. They got 80 yards in front of them. They went 86 on the last drive and scored. Durant operating with quarterback again. He's going to run this one. And he is going to have a first down plus about 3 yards.
Another good job by Durant. John Bunning, one of the first things he did, Ron, when he took over the job was call Carl Torbush, the former head coach, to get some help on the assistant coaches that he was going to hire. His high regard for Carl, as we do, one of the finest gentlemen and coaches in this country. So he got some help from Carl. They talked about the players, and he's trying to build on Carl's program.
Push down to 10 from the 33. Drills this one, and by golly, he completed it to Borders.
Goes to Borders, number 39. Making the stop. Number 28.
Now there he is on the media guide, Coach Dooley there. And John Bunning on the front of the media guide. Linebacker, 69 through 71.
He looked tough in that picture.
First and 10. Crowd getting a little anxious here. Durant almost intercepted by Roy Williams.
Still the starter still in, Ron, because this game has changed. The momentum has gone to North Carolina. Roy Williams had a chance there to salt away an interception on Durant. Starting to blow around here.
Yeah, in fact, I think the Weather Bureau said that the rain is about 15 minutes away from Norman. And that was about 3 or 4 minutes ago. Got that one complete. That's Bailey. And Corey is going to take this one enough for the first down to the 45-yard line. Good for 11 yards.
Corey Bailey was a high school quarterback.
There's the wind. That gauge must not be up quite high enough, because up here it's blowing more than 8. Right?
Oh.
I mean, we got every piece of paper in here with a weight on it. See the blitz off the corner. And gets away. And throws this one. And he had a receiver right there, so it's not grounding. Crowd wants it, but that's very legal. Number 12, Bailey, was close enough in making an attempt to catch the football. Corey Klein with huge pressure, along with Roy Williams.
Talking to the Oklahoma coaches, they believe number 93, Corey Klein, is the best defensive lineman on this football team. Just a heck of an effort by Darian Durant to get rid of that football.
So that stops the clock with 8:03 to play.
They can get a quick score here and a couple onside kicks. They'll have these fans really squirming.
Durant steps up into the pocket, goes long, and oh my goodness, did he have a guy open? That was Sam Aiken. Even though there was a defensive back close by with momentum, he might have taken that one into the end zone.
I believe he would have scored if he could have got to that football. Durant has excited the North Carolina faithful that are here.
Five of 11, 72 yards and 1 touchdown. You see the difference between first half and second half. Sooners have been silent. At 41 points at halftime. Drills this one incomplete. Looking for Allen. Thrown a little bit too hard.
I think you got to go for this.
Well, let's see. 4th down and 10. They need to take it to the 35.
You got 7 minutes, 52 seconds. You're out of time. You got to go for it. Draw the line in the sand here.
At halftime, it was 41-14. Carolina's the only team to score here in the second half, and they're going to go for this. As we said, they need the 35 of Oklahoma. Durant lobs this one. Got his guy. That's Bailey. Cuts it at the 10, at the 5. First and goal, North Carolina. 41 yards to the pass play. Roy Williams finally made a touchdown-saving tackle.
Well, Darian Durant is making this interesting, and don't go away, folks. Now, this is a football game with a chance for North Carolina to get back in this game. And again, John Bunning and the coaches are going to look at this tape and they're going to say, if we'd only started like this. Corey Bailey with a nice catch and a nice run after the catch.
Andre Williams is the man at the top of the eye, and that's who they give it to, and he goes at right tackle, and he'll take it down to the 1-yard line.
The other thing, Ron, is in North Carolina, that's probably going to hamper them a little bit, or it may hamper the offense of Oklahoma. If this rain does come, the public address announcer keeps announcing that, you know, you better head out of here because the rain's coming. But that could have an effect on this last 7 minutes, too.
9th play. It started at the North Carolina 20-yard line.
I like this way John Bunning's team has fought tonight.
motion. Right over the middle, got it for a touchdown, and that is Borders. No, I check it. It's a Brandon Russell. Brandon Russell with the touchdown for Carolina.
In fairness to Ronald Curry, his offense, of course, he had one of the fumbles. His offense kind of fumbled, and special teams fumbled away his opportunities. But Darian Durant is making the most. He hits Brandon Russell, the former running back, the outfielder on the baseball team, for a touchdown.
Look at the stride. John's body language is very positive right now. Extra point attempt is no good. He pushed that one off. Bender missed it.
Now you got to decide on the onside kick. If it's too early or not, or the weather is a factor, those decisions John's got to make now.
So timeout. We'll take it with him. 7 minutes remaining in the ball game. Sooners 41 and a invigorated Carolina 27. No, the storm is not far away. The wind's really kicking up. Lightning in the area. Thank goodness this one is winding down. And that lonesome train whistle off in the distance there.
I love the train whistle.
Chris Bender, who pushed that kick just a moment ago and missed the extra point, will kick it off for the Tar Heels. And the ball blew off the tee. Hey, as strong as it's gotten here, they may have to have a holder come up there.
Yeah, you don't want one right now, because now they're going to use him, because he's got to be the safety on the onside kick. So you want to try to do it without a holder, Ron, because you need all these guys going down to try to recover this football.
Now they set for the onside kick.
Just trying to confuse who's going to pick up who.
And they put air into this one and kick it high to the 16-yard line. Mackey. For tomorrow's ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, presented by Nextel. The Mets taking on San Francisco, and slugger Barry Bonds as he is in pursuit of history. Bonds with 55 homers and counting. Can he break that McGuire single-season record? Giants and Mets, 8 o'clock Eastern Time tomorrow. Tonight, one of 3 2 walks. Everything has been nothing out of the park so far.
Ron, this is confidence in Mark Bangino and the backup quarterback, Jason White, because you're 14 ahead with 6:52, and you leave him in the ball game.
Well, they run a sweep right here as they hand it to Fagan, one of the wideouts, and he's going to take it to around the 40-yard line, which is a gain of 4. Dexter Reed makes the tackle along with Monk.
So I think the Oklahoma coaches are still searching. I think Nate Hibble did some good things tonight, and they're trying to figure out what Jason White's going to do in this ball game.
North Carolina with a player shaken up, but he's helped up by one of his teammates. It's Billy D. Greenwood, who was injured back in the first half. And because the trainers came out there, he's going to have to go to the sideline. Yeah, and the one thing that man right there, Mark Bangino, and the head coach Bob Stoops, don't want is a quarterback controversy. But my friends, they've got one.
They've got one.
Now the clock should continue to run. Well, I guess they're waiting until the player is taken off the field. Oklahoma wants that clock to run. Another reason for that sweep: run the ball, try to run
Take
this
up as much time as you can, sideline to sideline.
Keep Durant off the field. No marker, but the tackle came out of his stance. White running for his life, and he'll be knocked out of bounds on the near sideline and stop the clock with 6:18 to play. Julius Peppers is the man who bumped him out.
Bob Stoops, when he chose the Oklahoma program, he had the Iowa job offered to him. That's where he played. Oklahoma and a couple others. He picked Oklahoma because John Blake, the previous coach, really left a pretty good nucleus of football players here. Did a good job recruiting. John's going to get back in coaching next year, and he's been out of coaching the last 2 years, but did a great job of assembling a lot of talent here for Bobby to come into.
White sets, far far sideline, and this one well overthrown. Curtis Fagan is the man that he wanted.
And the slinger's going to get the ball again.
Yep. Durant is...
This guy's name's going to be all over the country tonight. Slinging Sammy Durant.
Aiken again, the deep man. Running as much time off that thing as they can. This is a short kick into the wind. It's going to be touched dead at the 30-yard line or in that vicinity. Coming up later on ESPN at SportsCenter, college football buffet for you. Tigers charge at Firestone and USA Little League Shocker. Catch all today's highlights and scores. And for more, log on to ESPN.com. That's coming up next, immediately following our ball game.
You were big in that Little League baseball. You like that.
You know what? And what's really fun, I talked to more people at home and said the first thing their kids did when those games were on at night, they got their homework done in a hurry so they could go in and sit and watch the Little League playoffs.
Hey, they didn't make many mistakes playing the game either.
Fun baseball, really. Here comes the pressure off the corner. And that ball tipped at the line of scrimmage looking for Andre Williams. Well, the first 3 quarters, 94 yards. In the fourth quarter, 151.
Yeah, you're going to have to play a quarter before the next game and go out and start early because they just were sluggish at the start of this football game, and they made every mistake you could possibly make, and here they're still in the football game.
The interesting thing
against one of the best teams in the country.
That's right. The other interesting thing is with 11 more yards, they equal the offensive output of Oklahoma tonight. Durant sidearms this one, look long, and incomplete. Allen is who he wanted.
But if you're Gary Tranquil, he threw to the right guy. He had him. He just overthrew it. Bosley Allen was open.
Here's Gary.
Gary's had a good game plan. The offensive staff, a good game plan. You could see it develop when Darian Durant came in this football game. The offensive line's done a better job, too.
So third down, 1 of 11 for North Carolina tonight. They need to take it to the 40-yard line to keep something going. Sidearms this one, almost intercepted after it went off the hands of Andre Williams. Roy Williams was right there.
Pretty good coverage by Oklahoma. There wasn't a lot of spots to fit that ball in. North Carolina still has 2 timeouts left, so they're going to punt the football. Still figure they can get it back a couple times.
Well, Lafferty has been a busy gentleman tonight. As that win, that one wouldn't turn over. Caught at the 25-yard line by Mackey, and he is tackled immediately. 46 on the punt, nothing on the return, and Danny Davis was the man who got downfield to make that tackle.
Ron Nate Hibbles had a pretty good night. 20 of 29, 152 yards, 1 interception, but not the drive that Oklahoma fans are used to with Josh Heupel. Here he throws the ball out to Quentin Griffin, picks up pretty good yardage here, gets a little confused and gets sacked. Then he threw the interception to Peppers. But again, he's inexperienced, and he's going to learn on the job.
Well, the amazing thing about that interception, you could see him chasing Pepper. Peppers weighs 285, and Peppers ran away from him. Griffin, right up the middle. What he does best is hide behind those linemen, and then all of a sudden just burst. Is Quincy Monk stopping?
What I find interesting, though, the game's still in the balance. 41-27, Oklahoma, a little momentum on their side, and you still stay in with Jason White. So that's confidence Mark Mangino and the offensive staff have in Jason White, the young sophomore.
So there's a timeout to stop the clock by North Carolina. 5:29 remaining. 41-27 Oklahoma.
Yeah, that's
So 41-27, Oklahoma on top. You know, it's been a rough fall preseason camp for Oklahoma's favorite son, Josh Heupel. 6th-round pick of the Dolphins. He went 4 for 8, 62 yards in the opener against the Rams. But he hurt his wrist in that ball game, and he really hasn't played since. And a report out of Miami, one of the things that we have found out is say that he probably is going to be waived on Tuesday.
He's got a national championship ring, and I'm sure other teams will come call him.
White gives it to Griffin. And Griffin knocked down after a gain of about 5 by Dexter Reed. Now look at this career.
Yeah, he kept those chains moving.
Yeah, he did. You know, somebody made an interesting comment on the practice field, or as we were coming off the practice field on Thursday. He said, well, if he does get waived, he can always come back to Oklahoma and run for governor. Yeah. He is a really popular guy in this state. And let's go down to the sideline at Adrian Karstad. Adrian?
Since last January 3rd, no less than 4 books have been published concerning the Oklahoma Sooners. The Undefeated is one of them, but it has nothing to do with last year's team. This has to do with the team from 53 to 57, won 47 consecutive games. Robert Lockridge was the 55 captain of that team. Do you think that mark will ever be equaled in modern-day college football, Robert?
Well, if it ever is, I hope the Sooners do it.
You played offensive left tackle, defensive left tackle. I think there is about all the left tackles there were. How different was college football then, playing in this stadium?
Having to play both ways sure took a toll out of the players.
Coming from Costa Mesa, California now, the spirit that exists here as they try to go 14-0 this season.
Pardon?
The spirit that exists here, the feelings you have coming back to this place, having played here.
Absolutely phenomenal. I can't believe it. I came here today, and it's so hard to even get to the stadium, let alone get inside.
Congratulations for being the subject of this book. You look pretty good in the black and white photo.
Thank you.
All right, Ron.
That's Fagan as a flag is down. Curtis Fagan, the junior out of Houston, Texas, 17 yards.
Might get him for a...
Yep, you're right, Michael.
They had the bunch formation where you put 3 receivers together and you get a man coverage and you try to cross them, and sometimes you'll pick a defensive guy off. That would have been a big play for Oklahoma, because that would have changed the first down marker, give Jason White a little more confidence. Talking about Josh Heupel, I guess the remark that the coaches made to me that he was the hardest working player on last year's football team. That says it all.
Josh Norman checks into the lineup, number 3. 3rd down now for the Sooners. They need to take it all the way out to the 35-yard line to hold on to this football. Carolina would dearly love to get another stop here and put that offense back out on the field. Griffin. Somebody lost a shoe. I don't know if it was him or not, but he takes it enough for the first down. That is an incredible 2nd and 3rd effort, and a total 22 yards as Reed finally made the tackle.
Big play, and I tailback in high school, recruited by Texas A&M, Oklahoma State, and Oklahoma ended up here, and he is the most valuable player, I believe, of this offensive football team. May have been down.
I still think one of the funniest lines I ever heard is what he said to you after practice the other day. If I'd been taller, I'd have been a basketball.
Well, I asked him, I said, you know, with great hands that you got, did you play basketball? And he said, no, if I was taller, I'd have been a great basketball player. Knows his limits. Obviously, never heard of Muggsy Bogues.
Well, he's going to be stopped this time. David Thornton making the tackle for Carolina. And a clock about to go under 4 minutes remaining. Now that young man right there came in, Darian Durant, freshman out of Florence, South Carolina. Talk about no fear. He was not intimidated by this situation at all, was he?
No, and it's going to be a long plane ride back for Ronald Curry, and a tough grind next week, because everybody's going to be excited about Darian Durant, but you're settled on the practice field next week.
Jason White kept it. That's a good fake to Ronaldo works that time.
Yeah, Julius Peppers had a shot at Jason White and didn't make the tackle. And again, I credit the play calling tonight, because you can be tough on a defensive end. Look, Julius Peppers, we haven't mentioned him a whole lot. Now, he had the interception. He's made a couple key tackles, but he's been chopped. He's been trapped. He's had a lot of things happen to him tonight. And helping out the offensive lineman with the play calling.
Third down and 8. They need the 49. Quarterback draw. He's not going to be close to making that one as Dexter Reed comes up to finish him off.
You talk about David Thornton. Now, I'd say he's the most valuable player in North Carolina tonight. But not far behind him is Dexter Reed. Dexter Reed has given great effort in all the special teams in playing safety tonight. One true great defensive back.
Jeff Ferguson in punt formation for Oklahoma.
I would look for the Sooners to try to get the 5-yard penalty. Let that clock run all the way down before they kick it. 6 seconds, now 5. Well, they went ahead and snapped it away. That touched a Carolina player. What are you doing in the area? Big backs go down.
What always happens is the guy that's back there to catch the punt, he yells a name. It's Peter, 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 and that usually get everyone get away from the football. And number 4 for North Carolina, Robertson did not hear it, and it almost caused the ball to be turned over to Oklahoma.
No, there were 5 first-half turnovers that absolutely killed North Carolina. Well, the way this offense has come back,
would have been a heck of a game.
Would have been a heck of a game. You're exactly right.
Still a pretty good game.
Darian Durant from his own 21-yard line dumps that one off, and the ball is dropped as Andre Williams is the man that he wanted.
You know, the other thing that hasn't happened, the rain didn't come.
We almost made it.
No, when you talk of it, and the coaches hear that, and they think, well, I got to speed it up. I got to throw more. I got to throw deep down the field because the rain's coming. Rain never came.
And you can see the defensive coaches fretting there on the sideline. They want to see this thing over with, and they want to see North Carolina stopped by this Sooner defense. Right over the middle, and that's Borders, the junior out of Shelby, North Carolina.
We got to change his first name from Darian to Sammy. Slinging Sammy Durant. Because he does sling it.
He does, but Mr. Ball was a lot lankier than this.
Oh, yeah. Not putting him in that comparison, just a nickname.
Dumps that one off. Safety valve. Got it complete to Allen. And he caught it and then steps out of bounds, stopping the clock at 1:29. Teddy Lehman made the tackle.
One thing that Oklahoma defensive coordinator Bobby Stoops and Brent Venables said to me is the one question we have about our defense, can we be physical? I think they've answered that tonight. They have been physical against the run. They've given up some yards, but they haven't given up many big plays, and that was their style last year. Don't give up any big plays.
Both Brent and Mike, as you can see, volatile young men on the side, they really get involved in what's going on.
But you said something earlier that is true. People are going to grab this tape. Because there's been a lot of nice things done by North Carolina. Gary Tranquil has had some nice little designs in the passing game. John Tenuta, the defensive coordinator, had some nice little twists, nice little movement with Julius Peppers. Some pretty good defense against Oklahoma's offense.
263 total yards for North Carolina, 286 for the Sooners. That's Allen. Aiken are trying to block for him. And Terrence Sims knocked him out of bounds. And where they spotted it, they're going to move the chains again. So 1:08 left.
Taken out of bounds by
and when I said it earlier, I thought a lot of people probably thought that's coaches speak. But what did John say yesterday? I just want them to play hard.
Play hard.
Well, when they get on
things happen.
When they get on the bus tonight, I mean, he'll give them a talking to when this game is over. But the last thing he's going to say to him, I feel sure, is though way too many mistakes, but you didn't let me down. You kept coming back.
We competed in the second half.
And he dropped this one, going to have to run for it, and very wisely as Calmus makes the tackle.
Next week we got a great football game. I think UCLA coming to Tuscaloosa, Alabama. That's going to be a interesting football game. UCLA very talented. I think Alabama's talented.
Allen got it out there quickly to him, broke it open for a second, then gets flipped by Matt McCoy, but not before he arrives at the 35-yard line. 38 seconds away from Sports Center. So he stops the clock at 35 seconds left to play.
Happy with the win, Bobby Stoops, but I'm sure he's feeling there's a lot of things to go back and correct. But that's what they did last year. They said when they went back and looked at last year's film a week ago, they went back and looked at every week game, and they said the one thing about us, we got better every week,
particularly on defense.
Yeah, and that's what you want to do as a coach. You get better, take the mistakes, iron them out, and get better next week.
Durant slings it long and almost intercepted by McCoy. Cut right over in front of Allen. Almost made the pick off.
In fairness to Durant on that play, some of his receivers didn't move with Durant when he scrambled. And Matt McCoy had too much time to break on that football.
You know, Mike, one other mention about the OU defensive coaches. In a way, they might be happy that this has happened in the second half because it provided a test and made their defense stand up and show themselves, see what their mettle was about.
No doubt. Played 4 quarters.
Roy Williams with the pressure and got it away, and I'll tell you, he had to play defensive back. Flags are down everywhere. Corey Bailey had to go up to knock that football away to keep it from being intercepted by Terrence Sims. Sims is shaken up. Let's take another look at the play.
Pretty good effort by the receiver, Corey Bailey, to come back. And that's where the interference from Terrence Sims becomes, because he was not playing the football.
Started making the tackle before the ball got there. Bailey really did have great concentration and stuck with it. And boy, that is his knee with 20 seconds left. Terrence, a junior out of Belle Glades, Florida, by way of Hutchinson Community College. And it really has put a hush to this crowd, those of whom are left. A lot of people, because of the weather warnings, started headed toward their cars a few minutes ago. And now here comes the rain. None of you looking for Sports Center. It's coming up next. College football. Tigers charge up at Firestone, and USC Little League. Shocker. All next on Sports Center.
Well, it's a shame to get hurt.
Yeah.
20 seconds on the clock. Terrence Sims, good effort.
I tell you, the wind is coming so strongly. Papers that were in the stands are now just being blown up in the air and out. You can see it going across the field. We've got a pretty good storm right here at game's close. Durant at the end zone, incomplete. Corey Bailey is who he wanted, and 13 seconds left. Jimmy Wilkerson was the man applying the pressure, number 45.
Jimmy Wilkerson's the type of player that they'll move him down to defensive end when they think it's a passing situation. He'll play linebacker. Has a feel for rushing the passer.
Very versatile player. You're right, Mike. Seconds left. Durant steps up into the pocket, slings this one for the end zone, and almost intercepted by McCoy again.
Ron, I think North Carolina benefits from this performance. They got some play out of the quarterback. I think Oklahoma's got a tape to go back to and study and say we got to play 4 quarters. Offensively, I'm sure they're going to get the coaches to look at what happened tonight. It's a learning process for both teams.
Running for his life and going to be sacked. Corey Klein sacks Darian Durant. At a final score, Oklahoma 41, North Carolina 27. Coming up next, Sports Center. For Mike Godfrey and Adrian Carson and our entire ESPN crew, I'm Ron Franklin. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For stats, quotes, and a full recap of this game, log on to ESPN.